Welcome to our final day on the PAX West stage, where only 2 matches remain between us and determining the best Call of Duty mobile team in North America. With Team Devious eliminated, it's Mayhem, Tribe, and Luminosity who remain within arm's reach of the trophy and one last shot at a domestic title before setting their sights on the World Championship. I hope you're ready for our epic conclusion, my friends. This is the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion. We put in this time. Look, you won't stop.
Hello, what's good, and welcome to Championship Monday. It's been a long time of Call of Duty Mobile, and now it's coming to a conclusion. It's your boy F. Joined here as usual by the smart ones. It's Beef Mommy and I Hold Shift. Glad to have you with me. How y'all doing?
It feels great. I mean, thank you for calling us smart. I feel like that's such a great conclusion to our day number 1. And like what you already mentioned and like what Gabby did, today is D-Day. We're going to be crowning a champion here. And even though that is going to be rainy outside, in here, it's going to be hot.
Championship Monday. Might be Labor Day, so I don't know. I'm ready to get to work, Tom. And I'll tell you, we played and saw some of the most electric COD mobile that we've had so far this year. I think that the bar has definitely elevated and now we're going to get treated to something unbelievable today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If you're just joining us, you missed out. But don't worry, we got you. I'll show you the bracket and see how everybody got here. As Gabby mentioned, Devious showed up, but they aren't here any longer, unfortunately for them. Team Mayhem did fantastic. This team really, really knocked it out of the park, surprised some fans at home. And now that we see them in that lower bracket final against this Tribe Gaming team, again, if you watch some of the regular season, you might go, all right, Tribe got this, but that is not the case. This Mayhem team has been standing up.
They look really, really good, and I think the biggest thing about it is it's coming from players that we may not have expected to perform at the level that they currently are. So great stuff for Mayhem to get to the position they are.
Absolutely. You know, when we talk about these teams, there are 3 left. All 3 are going to that Call of Duty Mobile World Championships at DreamHack Atlanta. But now we have to talk about a North American champion, which is a huge deal, and of course seeding for said competition. So let's introduce our contenders. Luminosity Gaming has been the headline team for a while. They were 7-0 in the regular season, and they're still kind of killing it right now.
I mean, yeah, they are undefeated, but you can already see that there are a little bit of patches when it comes to their otherwise really clean slate. We've already seen that their hardpoint has been greatly improved, especially with the addition of Marshy when it comes to that matchup. But the question mark is, S&D now kind of has a mark on that piece of paper. And now definitely it's going to be Luminosity just having not Tectonic right there play for them. That'll be the biggest difference in that game mode.
You got to give a lot of praise to Marshy. We talked to Hippo a bunch at the beginning of this event as they were kind of coming in from different locations, and Hippo was sitting there and saying that they didn't feel very confident in what their hardpoint was doing. So the pacing change is definitely marked and noted. Marshy has been playing unbelievably well throughout both respawns, hardpoint and control combined. But like Beef Mommy is saying, there are a couple of question marks now with their search and destroy. They were undefeated in the group stage. They did drop their first search yesterday, and that's going to be, I think, a major point of contest as they approach that best-of-7 grand finals.
When we talk about Luminosity, we often talk about their performance last year and just how spectacular that team was, and how this is sort of like a combination of the #1 and #2 team from last year. Well, the #2 team was Tribe Gaming, and they're still pushing forward. This is how they came into this competition.
The strongest team that our team will have to face this term will be LG, because they have players that personally I've teamed with last year that we won the World Championship with, and the year before that also. So all of their players are very talented, so I think it'll be a good match to watch.
The biggest challenge our team faced this season was we just didn't have a set 5. So we kept changing rosters all the way up until basically after stage 3, so after stage 3 qualifiers.
My expectations for this tournament is to get first place, which we've been working a lot harder since playoffs, the round robin stage 4. We've put a lot of work into it, dedication. We've came up with new strats, new teamwork and everything, so I'm looking forward into it. I have a high expectation of us getting first place and just like competing and beating everybody.
When we picked the Rebalo, that's when we were basically set as our starting 5, and everything just clicked in a way.
My favorite part of playing online is just to meet a lot of people, make new friendships, and just actually see the atmosphere, play on stage, and just like look at the audience and get that feeling of, the pressure. Once I get that pressure, it either could consume you, make you play worse, or it could just make you play better, And I would say it will lean towards the playing better side.
Pressure. That's what Rebalo said right now, and it's exactly what they're facing. They had a really good challenge run. They showed how dominant they could be, but they kind of faltered back in day number 4 up against Luminosity, and it seems like they still need to find their footing here, especially with that day 1 performance.
Yeah, on the road to redemption, you're going to take a few stairs, and these guys are climbing for sure. It's interesting. Road to redemption, again, this was number 2, so they're trying to redeem themselves from here, but this team is still flying.
Yeah, they're flying, but it just doesn't feel like they're doing, anything that really kind of marks them as being the defending world champion as of yet. I mean, their hard point was perfect in the group stage. Their respawn, generally speaking, has been incredible, but they haven't won a control yet this weekend, which is so surprising to hear, especially considering that they played up against Mayhem, who is not a particularly great control team to the group stage, and they also lost the control versus Devious. So there are a lot of hiccups and obstacles this Tribe Gaming team need to hurdle if they do want to get that championship they're so coveting.
Listen, Tribe and Luminosity have been our headline teams, absolutely. They've taken the lion's share of the conversation, and as we said, they are some of the top 2 seeds. But when we look at this Mayhem squad, I think this team has been one of the more interesting teams to watch this weekend. We talk about the super team kind of conundrum, and Blur was the odd man left out, so he made his own team, and now they hit the ground running, and they are one of the most impressive squads this weekend.
And when it comes to forming this team, like what you already mentioned, it was down to the last day for them to kind of decide who is the missing puzzle piece in this team. We already saw how well Cartels performed yesterday, being that top fragger in that hard point, being the key player in this win up against Tribe Gaming.
I think that if Mayhem end up messing around and winning this whole thing, Cartels very well may be the MVP for this tournament. He has been unbelievable. In fact, I think you can kind of share that sentiment with the entire SMG line. They have been all over the map, and they've looked incredibly good. The other big surprise here for Team Mayhem is how solid they've been in the search and destroy, and it is coming from players like Blur, but also Kings. He has been unbelievable with the sniper rifle all weekend long, and that will need to continue, I think, if this Mayhem squad wants to find a way to continue beating up in these top 2 teams.
Last note I want to hit about this squad is Jesus Saves. I mean, this guy has been such a vocal leader. He gets on stage, and his attitude, he's calm. And that's super important for these guys coming to LAN. And then he always has these, like, Ted Lasso type speeches to amp up his team,
I love to hear that. I love that show, by the way. Great taste in TV shows. But like what you mentioned, it is something that we don't really get to see in the numbers and the stats, is how greatly composed the team is. And it really is important to have one person who is greatly experienced. We already said Jesus is experienced, Blur is also experienced. And that gives confidence to the rest of their teammates who may be a little bit new to give that really good performance here.
We actually get a chance to hear the experience from the horse's mouth. Gabby standing by with 3 captains repping our teams.
Thank you, Tom. I know we just heard from the yesterday when you secured your spot at the World Championship, but now it's time to take to competition once more. So I had to speak to you again ahead of the matches. I'm going to start all the way over on the opposite end, stretch my arm as long as I can to Solo. Tell me, how did you and Tribe end up spending your evening prepping for today and the matches to come?
We were actually going to go out, and then we were like, no way we're leaving after a 3-0. So we just ended up going to the hotel, VODing a little bit, going over our strats and how we're going to prepare for the next match, and just going over our setups. I think it was really useful. I'm looking forward to the match.
What about you, Jesus Saves? Any strategy that was being planned, or were you taking more of a restful moment?
We did have a little bit of rest. We went for dinner, and then after that, we came to the hotel, did a little bit of a talked about how we're going to approach today, and then same thing for the morning. We did do a little bit more talking, discussing what we're going to be doing, and yeah, pretty prepared and looking forward to the matches.
And one of y'all will be facing off against Envy and the rest of Luminosity. That's why you get to be over here on the left side, the cool side, waiting in the grand finals. How'd you spend your time?
Honestly, me personally, I just had a good night's rest to, see these two go up against each other and see who comes out on top. Yeah.
Would you like to share with us any expectations for their matchup? You can pretend that they're not listening right now, even though there's a mic going out everywhere.
Honestly, I mean, these guys just have to play to their best of their abilities and just, the best one's going to win at the end of the day.
Real quick, just words from you and you before the matchup on behalf of your team.
Well, I would just say I think we're going to be going in pretty confident as well. And it'll just be fun. We're just going to look forward to have fun. That's it.
I have no more words. It's time to let the game speak.
Let the games speak for themselves. Thanks for joining me on the stage. Back to the desk.
Yo, I love these guys. Like, straight up, I think Solo comes through and says exactly what he needs to. And, you know, Gabby tried to bait these dudes. They're like, nah, man, listen, we're here I'm just here so I don't get fined. Let's play the game. And I appreciate that.
The thing about it is, like, this is so anti-COD. Like, these guys are more than happy to shoot bodies, but when they get a microphone in front of them, in front of a camera, they're like, yes, nice. Yes, we're going to have a very gentleman's game. Give me some smack talk. We need to get, like, Scrappy in the mix and tell these guys how to do it, because, man, I was looking for some fireworks. Gabby set them up perfectly.
Well, we're not going to get the smack talk on the stage. Let me get the smack talk online. Follow us all over the internet. Just don't follow us home. And, of course, we've got a Discord as well where everybody's chopping it up, talking about this weekend. We're finding a North American champion this time around, so that's got to be a lot of chatter. When we see Team Mayhem up here, that's got to be a lot of chatter. So definitely a lot of fun. So let's just shift gears and jump right in. Tribe versus Mayhem is going to be our matchup to determine who takes on Luminosity Gaming in that grand finals. Tribe Gaming, let's start here. The black and red, this team, I mean, Solo came up there and, well, he doesn't have words, but that's what we have to do, so let's chat.
I mean, let us put some words in his mouth a little bit, and it's something that definitely this team is great. They have the branding, World Championship in their belt. They got two very valuable players coming in from last year. One really good player that just made a statement this time around, that would be Raballo. Yesterday, kind of had a difficult time, and now is the time to step it up.
The thing is, there was not a single moment in the 3 maps they won yesterday that labeled dominance. That was something that we used word-wise all the time about Tribe Gaming in the past. But this different roster has not lived up to the same expectations from last year. And going into a repeat matchup versus Mayhem, I need to see something different from Tribe right off the get-go.
You know, it's a little surprising because Tribe Gaming, they just have so many elements of cohesion because there's so many players that have played together before. So I expect some cohesion. I'm just going to return to that word because I want to see them come together here in this lower bracket. But at the end of the day, Team Mayhem stands in front of them. And Tribe comes with the legacy, but Mayhem comes with the momentum.
Oh man, I love that. And this team is definitely snowballing into the right direction. As you can see that a lot of the players are individually stepping up, yes, but what the question was leading up into this playoffs was, can they have that team chemistry? 1 month was enough for them to provide that, and it's looking like they're a solid, different team as compared to what they had in the challenge.
The biggest pinnacle of what we can label this Mayhem squad is that they are consistent and they are finding success across every single mode. They have looked dominant in the search and destroy. They've clutched up in a couple of the close hard points, and then in moments in round 5 controls, they've also put together the last second decision making needed to get over the hurdle. So they are providing, I think, on every single front, and even though they find themselves in the lower bracket, they're still, I think, primed to possibly be a major contender for a championship today.
Maps coming at you right about now, and Team Mayhem looking at hard points, so Arsenal is going to be the first place that we play Hacienda if we need it, but let's talk Arsenal right off the bat.
Arsenal, definitely a tricky map just because of how huge this is. We did talk about Tribe and how they're really good when it comes to those really big maps, especially like Takeoff, but we saw yesterday that Mayhem was able to take care of business and just take down one of the best maps of Tribe. Now, Arsenal, on the other hand, we need to see them do the same thing here.
Yeah, this is actually a bit surprising, I think, for a number of reasons. After the Takeoff, you kind of assumed that Tribe would be able to fix up their issues and go back there, but it's interesting to see that they're allowed to get to Hacienda, their most overall played hardpoint. Express and Meltdown, though, another interesting picture because we've had Express in the pool a lot this weekend, but we have not gotten to it because it's been map number 5. So we will get the guarantee of seeing it for the first time, and then Meltdown is a repeat from yesterday.
I'm curious here. Express is generally considered a pretty straightforward map. So does that do Mayhem favors or Tribe?
I think it does Mayhem favors. I think just overall, they have played this map the most throughout the group stage, and their record, even though it may not be the most stellar, they do have some very convincing results. And based on how they played maps like Firing Range yesterday, I'm excited to see what they have for Express.
I'm going to mirror exactly what Shift said here. You have Kings and Blur that could provide so much space in Express and also information. You already know the first engagements will be most likely your snipers, especially on that A side. But going into that control crossroad strike, like what we said already, round number 5 always for Mayhem, and it seems like they will deliver this time around.
Well, match number 1 is ready for all of us. So let's get into it. Winner goes to the grand finals. Tribe, Mayhem. Y'all two on the cast.
Yeah, this is really, I think, an interesting matchup just to see them go back, play out what happened and what maybe went wrong yesterday, and modify the map set just a touch. I still think that, generally speaking, neither team is going to be upset about seeing one map or the other. I think both teams kind of got away finding some of their stronger overall maps in this particular pool. It's just the orders all jumbled up compared to yesterday, and that has something to do with how they fell into this lower bracket, Mayhem being the higher seed right now based on how the tournament's filed.
And especially with the pressure on Tribe's shoulders and knowing very well that they're getting out all of their best maps in those respawns. They did so, like what I said a while ago, in that takeoff matchup up against Mayhem, where, yes, they lost a really good map. Now they're bringing up another one in their pocket, which will be Arsenal. And they were taking a look at the matchup yesterday up against Luminosity, where Mayhem lost that Arsenal matchup. And so maybe they were like, okay, we see a little bit of weakness here for Mayhem, so we'll bring another big gun out.
I think the thing, though, is even in that matchup versus LG, it was a really good game of Arsenal Hardpoint. It really just came down to a couple of things here and there. I mean, a 250 to 203 scoreline. You could point fingers at a number of different moments and say that was the difference maker. But we'll see what unfolds this time around. It's the lower bracket final, day 2 of the Snapdragon Pro Series. Tribe Gaming taking on Team Mayhem. Let's get it on.
All right, here we go. As the battle for the power positions here in P1, you definitely want to get a hold of that window. We've seen already how Mayhem was able to control it early on into those rounds, and now it seems like it is just going to be a pretty scrappy hill this time around.
Yeah, really nice job here from Tribe off the opening gunfights to still find favor over the hard point. And yeah, the SMGs continue to get a little bit further forward, putting a lot of pressure on Team Mayhem, who are currently split spawning across the map. Solo getting involved for an early 3-piece. Not even done yet, as still members coming in for Team Mayhem in staggered form. Kills starting to come through. Team Mayhem find a way to re-break. Last one left was Space, and as he drops, Team Mayhem start to get back into the game.
2 players from Tribe now trying to get a hold of this window side, which we already said that was going to be a very important point of contention. And but that doesn't matter, as Mayhem is able to take care of business.
Yeah, the SMG line for Team Mayhem respawn just has been unworldly comparatively to what we saw during the group stage. Raph has been unbelievable. You also have Jesus, who continues to be consistent, and Cartels, like we had mentioned at the beginning of this whole broadcast, he very well may be an MVP consideration if this Mayhem squad were to find a way to win. Rotating over to P2, another split spawn situation. You've got King spawning behind this play as Tribe is trying to get themselves set up, but the gunfights don't quite come through, and now numbers for Mayhem on their break.
Oh, hold on. Mayhem has definitely changed up their gameplay, because yesterday they preferred to have that robot side spawn. That's going to be on your right side. Mayhem, on the other hand, wants batteries or AKA guns here, where LG took the better of them here in P2, but it seems like it's not working out for them quite yet, as Tribe still has a solid hold, but the pinch coming in from Mayhem.
Yeah, really well done here for Mayhem from all fronts. They hit at the same time, but still picked up by Tribe Gaming. Really solid start from Jazz as he gets to an early Predator missile, also on 8 kills. He was slow to start yesterday, not the case here today. Tribe Gaming looking good for this scrap time, as Team Mayhem already sent members over towards New, and this could lead to actually a very dangerous spawn trap, as Tribe Gaming have Mayhem trapped up in the backside of pit.
Mayhem was throwing so many looks and punches here in P2, but it seems like this is their weakest hill in this map so far. They tried to get spawn, they also tried to get in through front and tried to go for a pinch, but they were just outgunned by Tribe. And now the rotation going in from next, where it's an essential gunfight being won by Jez to even control that point, where it's only play number 5 there for Tribe.
Pride Missile gets called in, not going to connect. Team Mayhem trying to set themselves up backside staircase. Long route on the way from Solo as our opening operators start to make their presence known. Raballo from the front just trying to do what he can with the War Machine, but it's King's Annihilator in hand to find a handful. He was great here yesterday with his Annihilator, and it seems like this just seems to be his hard point. Over the top, does get flashed up, but still connects over. And how about it? Another little flick over to Raballo. Beautiful stuff here from Team Mayhem. Still 30 seconds to fight for, and the only major threat here for Tribe is Solo along the back.
I mean, I think he's probably one of the best players with the Annihilator on hand, and as he uses it, he's also able to create that space, but Tribe Gaming also able to respond with Annihilators and claws of their own as they're flushing out, using their score streaks and operators, knowing very well that Team Mayhem is gonna have any kind of retaliation whatsoever. A back and forth hard point we have here in P3. Rotation is gonna be the key moment here, where Team Mayhem already have the point.
Oh, King's trying to find a way to finesse this scrap time. Can't quite get too much done, so 90 plays 52. Pred Missile called in by Solo. Tribe looking to open up some space early here on our guns hard point. Little play out of Cartels as the Purifier will be in hand, and he makes it absolutely devastating. Raballo shutting him down, though, very key. Forces Raph to go into the claw, which he does at least allow an opportunity for Mayhem to sustain some pressure over the top of the hard point. Mayhem spending a lot. Solo trying to respond with a purifier of his own. Can't quite get into it at the moment, and Jesus Saves will actually shut him down. 50-50 gunfight still persisting over the top of the hard point with 35 seconds still to fight for. Back and forth we go, kill for kill. And it looks like finally Team Mayhem will get the reinforcements they need to get some time.
Great operator usage coming in from Team Mayhem. And even though that Tribe Gaming had such a good flank in the form of Seiken and was able to just make his teammates spawn right beside him near the hard point, it just wasn't enough because they didn't have enough gunfire to go up against the operators of Mayhem. And now, as the rotation for next, with the scrap point still being contested by both of these teams, an essential 1v1 happening right now, and it is going to be Solo winning that gunfight through P5.
Tribe still on the scenic route, though, over to Trophy. They've got a long distance to cover, and there are members for Team Mayhem in the way. Solo just, again, trying to finesse his life as long as humanly possible. Spawns for Mayhem will still be close to the backside of Robo. Tribe having numbers, though, winning all their gunfights. This feels familiar. They did this a lot yesterday. Maybe not as convincing as they would have liked on rotation, but the individual fights do allow them to hold numbers and get into the hard point. 45 seconds to fight for. Jesus Saves, opening things up with a Sparrow. A couple of kills for Team Mayhem as now their break attempt starts to have some legs, and Solo, he's now the last player really left alive to respond to a lot of this hit coming around the back. But as Jez gets involved, Solo keeps his life. He gets onto a 5 spree, and in the midst of what looked to be a Mayhem break, the couple of members surviving for Tribe actually hold on.
Yeah, that split spawn definitely kind of favored Tribe a little bit, as Mayhem was trying to go in there for the pinch, but he was there to shut down whatever push that Mayhem was going to have. But in a quick breath, we do see Mayhem get that and also infiltrate that P5. It is still going to be heavily contested by all of these Tribe members, though. It is still majority of the points here in P5 in the favor of Tribe, as, again, the spawns do kind of favor them just a tad bit. Now, rotation, again, very early on for Team Mayhem, and let's see what kind of power positions they have.
Yeah.
As we see, it is at Raph going to be in a really good position.
This could get expensive here for Tribe. Team Mayhem are in a perfect setup along this, what is usually a very mixy hard point. And all the timing from Raph around the back. He's going to line up a couple with the Switchblade. Now back into the mix, catches one more bottom side fence. Perfectly done by Raph, helping out the team, making safe 1 point of entry. And now King saying, okay, time to get to work. He's got his second Annihilator out. He's already found 2 kills. Mayhem all over the opening 20 seconds here in the first hill.
Love that. I mean, it is Mayhem just timing everything correctly. And the rotations individually from these players, the flanks, are just working out for them as they're trying to get and pick up the points here. Blur brings out the War Machine to try and flush out those Tribe plays, but so far, they're not aware of where everyone else from Tribe's going to go. And that's an essential operator to be shut down by Tribe.
But he still got 5 kills with it, so they didn't really shut him down. It was absolutely well done by Blur, following up behind Kings on the Annihilator. Good efficacy from Team Mayhem on what is normally, again, not a hard point you find a ton of time on. They walk away with the better part of about 30-plus seconds, and they hold rotation over to Pit early. Tribe, a couple operators of their own that they could potentially try to spend to break this up early, and they are going to try to default from playing around the backside of this hill. Blur up top on tower is going to be a very tough position to deal with. But first couple of kills do allow maybe a chance for Tribe to threaten this from the back. Pred Missile going to be called in, but Kings following up with a couple of kills will make sure Team Mayhem can stay in the hard point.
A different look from Mayhem this time around. This is probably one of the best holds they've had so far here in P2 Arsenal. And like what we mentioned, there was a little bit of a missing piece when it comes to their defense a while ago, and now it seems like it's up in the air. They have control over spawn. They have player number 5, that's Raph. They also have high ground control. That is going to be by artillery. They also have player number 4 just going in there, trying to block up any kind of backward spawn that Tribe will try to get. Rotation for next is going to be key, where it's all going to be blue yet again.
Yeah, really nice stuff here for Team Mayhem. At least being able to string together a couple of hills, get themselves in the lead, and also build a pretty significant cushion. I mean, this is a lot of scrap time that Team Mayhem are getting for free, and they've got players already threatening over towards vent side. This has been perfection from Team Mayhem. Operator still at the range for both sides. Jesus Saves fully streaked out of his earlobes. And because Cartels gets on in, he's saying, where's Tribe? How do we get here so easily for free? Hardpoint will open, and Team Mayhem will go P1 to P2 to P3 early.
Wow, Cartels is just beaming here by P5's side. Finally gets shut down by Jez, but he does create enough space for Tribe to just be backed up in a corner. And at the moment, Tribe still trying to scramble, trying to get their rhythm back here, as one more clinch will try to ensue, but it'll be difficult just because of how much gunfire that Mayhem's actually bringing here in this hill.
Wow, this has been a dominant display. What looked to be Tribe Gaming going essentially in a tug-of-war battle with Team Mayhem. It has just been all the team in yellow, dominating from here on out. Last couple of hard points, and the streaks are making life extremely difficult. I mean, everybody's carrying a streak or an operator right now for Team Mayhem. They can get this thing close to, not maybe even above 230 points to the 150 of Tribe. No one will be able to persist over the scrap time, so that will go to the game clock. And Tribe have to win this rotation to do, and they need to do it convincingly.
And now it is going to be Blur trying to take out that Freddy, getting that information that everyone else from Tribe is actually going to be on that right side of the map by P2. That is going to be vital. For at the moment, though, Tribe is still winning the majority of the gunfights, even though that Mayhem's quite literally raining Mayhem into the skies. It is enough for them to kind of stop the push from Tribe, though.
Yeah, this is just not seconds you want to see go over. Tribe will have an opportunity to try to contest this from mid-window. Have to find the kills, though. All the operators and score streaks have been spent. Now it's just down to winning the gunfights if you're Team Mayhem. Not quite able to do it at the moment. Nice spree coming out from Tribe. Claw out for Jez, is trying to hold on to every final second here, and yep, that will work out, at least to assist his teammates to get a couple of key kills. Mayhem still trying to threaten. Cartels around the back, shut down though, and hold on a second. This is starting to feel familiar. Tribe growing some legs and getting some extra life as they look good for the scrap time, and now it's on the rotation trophy.
That was an expensive hardpoint for Team Mayhem. They were stacked going into P4, and now they are absolutely broke going into P5. Tribe, on the other hand, you'll expect them to finally fill up all of those score streaks and operators once we go into that rotation and going mid into this hard point. They are positioned really well. Winning those gunfights at the later end here will define how they will finally control this last hill.
Cartels on 38 kills. Kings has gotten to the 50 bomb in the spree between all of these strung together hard points, and even in that effort, Tribe Gaming are still finding themselves on top of the kill feed. They're going to get above 200 points. Staggered spawns for both teams. Team Mayhem a chance to use this as a natural pinch, but space up top makes save. One play, Jets comes down to find the back door. Oh boy, here we go. Tribe Gaming still with numbers, still coming on top of the kill feed. No operators ready for the side of Team Mayhem. Jesus will open things up though with the triple. A chance for Team Mayhem to win right here. Operators though at the ready for Tribe. They've got to find a way to get in here and start to spend this. Saken trying to get the Annihilator going. Can't quite find the kills. The Sparrow earned for Jesus. He could just single-handedly put this map away, and it looks like he will. Oh, it's a heck of an effort from Tribe Gaming, but Team Mayhem too large of a lead to overcome.
Wow, what a comeback coming in from Jesus. Yes, they did have the lead, but it could have been easy for Tribe to pick up the points, especially with that early setup there in P5. Jesus literally rushes into the point, gets a 3K, earns himself that Sparrow for that solid defense to shut down this game. And now it seems like Tribe has finally, put down another map that they were comfortable with, but were not able to finally get a map here, which they so desperately need.
Wow. I mean, it's just one of those games, again, that just feels like throughout the first set of hills, it's very back and forth. And it was. You had some success there. We had some success here. We've got the opportunity to kind of get a lot of value out of the operators from both sides. But it isn't until we get to the second time through this first hard point where Team Mayhem down a handful. It's right here where they start to put together one heck of a string. And it starts off with Kings pulling out a very uncharacteristic Annihilator over the top of the first hard point. That's immediately followed up by Blur's War Machine, and they completely take over the map. Not just on the first hard point, but they also win rotation to 2, and then they string it together with an EMP usage from Jesus to get over to 3, and this lead was just too much to overcome.
That was so good. I mean, the little adjustments that they made mid-game, because honestly, I was looking at that P2 connection that we didn't see in that first set, and in the second set of rotations, that's when we saw they got spawn control. They also had high ground, and that was basically GG's from there. And the operator usage after that was so key as well. The timing was perfect. This time around, we have Kings as our MVP, and he really stepped it up here in this playoffs.
Yeah, it's just one of those maps that you often look to the ARs to see how much they can dominate, shut down lanes, and Kings 100% provided that. 51 and 27, mercy. 41 as well for Cartels, continue to be impressive in the respawn. So great start here for Team Mayhem. Not the best news ever though for Tribe, because it doesn't get any cloudier, I would say, as we move forward into this series. Express coming up for map number 2. We already kind of mentioned it. We saw the veto process. Team Mayhem had played this map a ton when they were in the midst of the group stage. Maybe not the most success ever, but again, they have looked incredible in the Search and Destroy. By far, the best team we had yesterday in this map 2 game mode.
And they were playing Express in a way that it was still acceptable because it was close. Even though they lost some rounds, they brought it down to the wire. And like what you mentioned already, Tribe still needs to find a way to kind of play this map. We don't really see it that often. They were only able to play it, I think, once. And yes, they found success up against, again, the same team, a bit against Mayhem. But we already know that this is a completely different Mayhem team as to what was challenge day one.
And I think the thing about it, and we talked about this a lot yesterday, it was a conversation point that really kind of we built up at the very end of the group stage. Tribe and Search and Destroy have often just looked like they only prefer to go to one map or the other. They're not really a deep team when it comes to the map fluency. So now you put them on a pretty uncomfortable terrain. You miss out on the opening hard point, putting together a comeback, and you have to be able to reset, regain, and provide something that we have not seen to this point. So I don't know who to look at first and foremost. I kind of want to put Rabalo under the spotlight a little bit because he was playing great yesterday, but man, I don't know. It's a tough one to frame up based on the results that we've got, and mostly based off of the very recent bias of watching Team Mayhem dominate everybody in Search yesterday.
Yeah, we need to see Solo and Space rather, to kind of step up, being those long-range engagements. They are the first line of contact, giving that information to his team, knowing very well that Mayhem right now, Kings is on a roll. He was MVP yesterday in that Search and Destroy, and now we get to see him MVP here in Hardpoint. So you already know that this guy is on fire. You need to find a way to stop this presence, and again, it's definitely going to be those duo snipers. That'll be the biggest difference.
We'll see how things unfold. Before we jump to the game, we want to give another massive shout out to Snapdragon and the Snapdragon Pro series. When winning matters, you definitely want to make sure you've got the new Samsung Galaxy S23 series in your hands. What our players are using, and I can tell you just based on talking to them, they're loving it as far as how the battery performance is, the overall kind of achievements that Samsung's been able to put into this new iteration of the gaming market has been great for COD Mobile in particular. So big shout outs to Samsung and the Snapdragon Pro series for helping us put this all on. Not just here as well, by the way. It happened all the way throughout our first ever elongated group stage. So really cool to see the evolution of the esport continue alongside Snapdragon.
And not just that, when it comes to the performance, definitely you need to have a device that you know that will work and be basically your best friend in this entire tournament. And we've seen already all throughout the weekend, everything is smooth. We were so surprised yesterday that everything ended pretty early because everything just worked out, not just on the player side of things. Obviously, it was really fast, but yesterday we also got to see that technically there was nothing wrong. It was flawless. But speaking of flawless right now, Mayhem seem to be like they're in a really good spot at the flawless run there into that hard point, but they need to do the same case here for Search and Destroy, knowing very well that this is their strongest game mode going into the playoffs, bringing down Luminosity, bringing their first L here, and also providing such a good statement yesterday up against Tribe.
We'll see how it goes. It will be Tribe attacking first. Team Mayhem on the defense. Keep your eye on Kings to see what he wants to do with the sniper rifle. He's going to be making a play over towards the B side of the map early. And actually no presence here for Tribe. And look at the quick rotation from Team Mayhem. They don't see any nades come over the top, so they know the hit's coming over towards Locker side. Cartel's able to get one. Solo provided the trade with the shotgun, but this hit has been read, and Tribe Gaming have not been able to find a way to get onto site yet.
They're going to be stuck just a tad bit, and Blur, he is going to be smoked out. He didn't see that player cross right there, so he will still have eyes on Lockers. Information provided now, though. It is essentially for Mayhem to try and go in for that rotation early on while the bomb's down.
It's pretty impressive that Tribe was able to cleanly get that plant off and also get off the site. Here comes the retake attempt. Raph with a shotgun is looking to be the first one in. He's going to have Blur watching over the top of him. Sagan's nade does connect, doesn't quite get the kill, but Raph cannot make any further plays. And Sagan, I think he's got an idea exactly where Raph is, but doesn't make a difference off the regen. Raph still goes 1 for 1. Time becoming a bit of an issue now. 16 seconds on the clock. Solo, shotgun at that range only tickles. 3v1 situation. Jez, last one standing, just has to kill off the clock a little while longer. Here comes the challenge, and Jesus will find the kill with just enough time to secure the defuse as well.
Impressive stuff from both teams. Tribe put that bomb down so cleanly, and even though that we do get to see one player from Mayhem just looking at that direction, it didn't really matter. Blur was looking there by Lockers. He saw those 3 players, and it really was the response from Kings at the back end. Getting that pick off of Space was the most important part as they could finally go in there. The clinch happened, and now it seems like the same case here for Tribe as they aggressively try to get that information into that alpha side. Will be greeted by 1 player.
Yeah, and again, Team Mayhem don't see any action over towards B, so they're already rotated over. Cartels is behind this play with the opportunity to line things up, but he'll take the first kill and then cleanly back off, getting a 5v4. Raph steps back in towards Trains, shotgun able to take down Forsaken. And that looks like it may just be about it. Tribe having a real tough time here offensively, cracking the code over towards A early.
And now we do get to see Raph on the hunt, gets that kill. Bomb's gonna be down. It's all up to space. A 1v2. Still very doable though. He has a lot of time to play with, so he's gonna go for that long wraparound here, in through departures, going through mid. They don't know where he'll be at, so that's the best thing, best case scenario for space.
There's so much work to be done here. Changing the angle will keep him a bit unpredictable, but Mayhem have 100% confidence that the bomb is down over towards A, and they're just essentially playing this as a tandem duo. Space trying to get around the back. He will have to moving quickly as clock is becoming a bit of an issue for him. You can see the setup for Team Mayhem. Both players up top in tower. Should be a tradable position for them. As Space is, again, just running out of time. He has cleared out a lot of space, though, I will say that much. This is not bad news overall. The longer this takes, the more he's going to have an idea of where these Mayhem defenders are. The barriers will drop. The train is on the way. Opening shots from Space are good. Hold on a second. Raph only has a shotgun. Oh, but at that range, it does still land. Not missing a single shot. Raph will keep things in hand for Team Mayhem up 2-0.
I mean, credits the Space for quite literally gaining so much space and clearing those angles right, almost clutching up a 1v2. Once he cleared out so much space, I mean, there was only one place to look at, and it was towers or either cable cars. And I mean, in those trains, you're not going to be seen if you're going to be up top, so that's going to be impressive. Same case here now for Tribe, trying to go in there for that A push. Again, it will be cartels right there.
It's just, again, Mayhem have full information on this. The interesting thing about this defensive setup, though, for Mayhem is that Cartels is essentially opting to isolate himself in this corner. He will have a little bit of assistance as Raph is on the rotation. He's also got Jesus saves a bit deeper, but those are both shotgun members, so this defensive setup is pretty one-dimensional. Along the back, King's getting aggressive with the sniper rifle in hand. He finds one, plus a follow-up with the scope. Trades over the top of the bomb site, but, I mean, Tribe have not been proactive in any regard, and they're once again kind of stuck up a creek without a paddle.
Essential opening picks from Mayhem, and now that backs up Tribe. Now they're going to be met by Blur, and he gets spotted out though, and that's a good trade coming in from Rabalo. A little bit of breathing room for Tribe as they're trying to find their way in through that B side, knowing very well that it's probably going to be really open, but with Mayhem, they definitely know what's up.
Thing about it is, have they been able to substitute out any of their secondaries for more traditional weaponry? You do not want to retake this site with just shotguns. Forsaken's going to go backside monitors. Rabalo playing on top of info. Double hit on the way. Still shotguns for Team Mayhem. They're just looking to overwhelm this by sheer force of numbers. They see the trophy system down. That will be deleted. And yeah, Fennec is still in hand for Jesus, so he's got a couple of weapons to play around with. This is still a very tough call, though, to try to get back over. Here comes the play. Shotgun dealing the initial damage, but at that range, again, it's only tickles. Raph gets the first, though. Now it's on to finding Forsaken, and no, not going to be able to connect. And Tribe get on the board.
Finally, that is going to be a momentum shift that you need to see Tribe Gaming have. A didn't work out. Slow it down a little bit, equalize when it comes to those lives, and going for the hill that you know that there won't be any kind of Mayhem players right there. And now it's going to be a 3-2 split where I feel like for Mayhem, they were expecting a B hit because it was successful the last time around, but no, Tribe is still wanting to go in there for that A side, and Rabalo gets the first play.
Yeah, I mean, the B hit wasn't a hit, it was a rotation. So Tribe are continuing to have the same setup where they're just trying to overwhelm A. This time they do get a lot more success by moving in towards lockers, and they also control top tower. A little bit of nerves, though, about where Kings is located as he pretty much blew up the entire setup last round. Raph, Jesus again, double shotguns up, looking to still finesse over the top of this site. Here comes the hit from Tribe, though, stacked up in the box. Smoke will come through. Tribe will make their way on. They're looking for contact, though, and Raph is going to, oh no, not quite get one for free. Solo anticipates it. Jez also finds Kings on the flank. And Tribe, much cleaner here as they get the bomb planted today.
And now Tribe is reading it so well, and Solo's going to blow up any kind of chances that Mayhem will try to get when it comes to defusing that bomb. And now for player number 2, Jesus saves, we'll try to go in there for that long wraparound, but we'll still try to catch any kind of rotations from Tribe Gaming that will try to get any kind of angles, but Jesus is going to be there really quickly, but he does get shut down by Solo.
And Blur in a pretty impossible situation here with only 18 seconds on the clock in a 1v4. Slides out, nearly gives himself a chance, but yeah, the shotguns have been providing a lot of damage over the top of this A side from one side or the other. So back-to-back rounds for Tribe. They respond, get us to a 2-2 gridlock. And with 2 rounds to play here in the half, this would be the round that I would anticipate Tribe tries something different. And yep, that's indeed the case. First time we're going to see a full 5-man hit over towards B. Does Team Mayhem get aware of this? Doesn't matter. Solo the first one up. Follow up from Forsaken. And the opening kills great for Tribe as they get full capacity over the top of the B site.
An essential gunfight being won by Jesus Saves, though. He gets a double. Bomb is going to be dropped as well. And it's a good thing that Seiken is also very much nearby. And for Mayhem, they need to find a way to recollect themselves. And it's a good thing that they're slowing down the pace just a tiny bit and create a little bit of doubt in Tribe's mind.
Just another tall ask for a shotgun sniper rifle combination to retake this. We'll go 2v2. Solo's gonna get the bomb planted without contest. Blur and Jesus playing somewhat close together, but ultimately this is pretty individual on how they're approaching this, and Forsaken misses a chance. Blur gets away completely unscathed from an opening shot from Forsaken. Now the focus back over towards Jesus. He's got a Fennec and a shotgun to play with. He's already got ticket control. Here comes the contact. Oh, and Forsaken gets a lot of damage. Easily fouled up on by Solo, who now picks up the Fennec in his own. 1v1. Clock favors that of Tribe's post plant. Blur's got to go. And he's just taking his time. This is taking way too long. Cooking up nades, this would have to land. There's just not enough time for this play to come out. Solo goes prone. He's got good looks over where the bomb is planted, and Blur will not have the time nor the ability to capture the kill in order to play for the defuse.
Like what you mentioned, it just took too much of a rotation. That time just too long for Blur to help Jesus Saves. If they went in there as a duo, if he was a little bit closer, then they could have had a little bit more of an upper hand when it comes to defusing that bomb and eliminating the rest of the Tribe Gaming players. And now finally Tribe looking good here in this B side, looking like in the same case here as they're getting the first one this time around.
Another tough situation. Raph, that time he had the support of a lot of utility with the flashes coming out. It did affect Tribe Gaming, but the opening R9 blasts did not find a kill. And Tribe shake off the effects of the flashes and stuns and turn that into a clean kill feed with a plant to boot. Kings nowhere to go inside ticket. It all rests with Cartels. This will be a 1v5. And Tribe are not going to overstep their bounds. Play the very safe post plant. And this will likely be 4 rounds in a row for Tribe to finish off this offensive half.
It's all up to Cartels, and 21 seconds is definitely going to be so difficult up against the 4 players of Tribe, knowing very well where you are, so they're just playing with their food this time around. And there you go, Cartels goes down, and looks like Mayhem just does not have any kind of answer when it comes to the aggressive nature of Tribe. And we already know that Tribe is very aggressive. Rabalo said that in the interview that they are very aggressive as a team, and Mayhem took a little bit of time when it comes to that Bravo push. And now a different look coming in from Tribe Gaming this time around, as the defensive side is going to be theirs.
Pretty much a full-on hit over towards A, but keep your eye on Jez, playing aggressively with Solo, right down through lockers. Also support from Rabalo on the way, and Tribe Gaming all over this setup from Team Mayhem. Raph the only one to get a kill back, but we go 4v2. And Tribe Gaming looking very clean, although hold on a second, sloppy gunfights, and that turns into an opportunity to where Mayhem have at least leveled the terms of touch. Blur the last one left for a 1v2. Sniper rifle in hand, playing topside trains. Solo and Forsaken both down low. And oh boy, Blur very well may catch timing here. Saken's trying to bounce back over. What a shot from Blur. Now to the 1v1. This would be critical for Team Mayhem. But Seiken obviously sees the bomb down right in front of Checkers. But Blur with a ton of time is just going to try to wait things out and see if he can surprise Seiken from a different angle.
I love that nade from Blur. That diversion that's basically put their sights. They were looking into the bottom side of the map. Finally got a pick through tower. Brought it down to a 1v1. He has a lot of time now, 40 seconds left, but needs to be a little bit quicker at this time around, clearing out so many angles.
There's the angle, shot lands, Blur converts the 1v2. A critical round for Team Mayhem to avoid being down 2-5. And a little bit of life possibly back into the sails here for Team Mayhem. First round they've had in the last 5.
Solo having 14 kills to his name, creating so much space. On the other side of things, we also have Raph having 10. Quick push going in through that B side, and this is something that Mayhem had kind of had trouble a while ago.
Trying to change things up in a trophy system for Tribe Gaming. Denies the flash from Jesus Saves, who could not quite work around the gunfight topside tower. Jez, red, but stays safe. Support. Oh, good nades coming out, actually. Team Mayhem have to back off ladder just a touch, and they're actually going to give up on this A hit. Meanwhile, opposite side of the map, Blur finds a isolated kill onto space. That should force Tribe Gaming's defense to move, but Jez tries to get proactive with Saken watching over the top of him, and they're going to find another tradeaway kill. And that makes life a little bit easier here for Tribe, as they've gotten also time for Rabalo to rotate over towards the B site. He makes first contact, but Cartels takes him down with the Fennec, and that will lead to Team Mayhem's plan.
Kings is going to be right there to get those exit frags, but then Jez able to get rid of him. That rotation is just not going to be there. Still down to a 2v2. Bomb is going to go down. 37 seconds left on the clock. But it looks like Mayhem knows very well where Tribe's going to be at. Cartels is going to be right there. Second kill to his name. Saken goes in there for the trade, though.
1v1. Blur, once again, last one standing for Team Mayhem, but it's Saken working on the 1v2. Shotgun and sniper rifle for him. And Blur, oh, this is cheeky. The thing is, does he get heard here? He knows he's got to check to make sure no one's on for the defuse. Saken doesn't hear him, though, and Blur once again comes up clutch. 2 isolated individual moments from Blur gets us back to a 4-4 tie.
Hero plays from Blur, and also Cartels getting essential kills. And the first thing was getting off Rabalo into that B rotation, and also that slowing down any kind of progress Tribe had, even though they even things out. And now it's going to be a 3-2 split where the bomb carry is going to be in a very much precarious shot, because it is going to be overwhelmed by Tribe Gaming members.
Well, it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Raph has stayed alive. Jesus is fresh and comes into the battle, taking down 2. What a piece of timing that is from Jesus Saves. Raph was in more than trouble, but he's allowed to keep his life. Saken, timing. He actually stops the bomb from being planted, and in the same breath, Solo finds the kill on the other side. This would have to be a 1v2, though, still for Solo. Trying to track down Raph, and as he slides on towards the B side, he may have missed his timing. Shot over the middle of the map. Blur once again capitalizes for the final kill, and it's 3 rounds in a row for Mayhem.
Great back and forth from both of these teams, though. I mean, we did get to see that Mayhem, there were only 2 players there on that B side, but quickly had members to back them up, knowing very well that Tribe had so many players there to overwhelm. And now 4v3 here into the same side, where it will definitely be important for Raph to get a pick.
Oh, but Tribe have kind of held back just a touch, but Raph still forces the play. Doesn't work out. Rabalo playing backside monitors is able to take down a double, and numbers will be here initially for Tribe Gaming. 3v2 scenario. Kings is a little stuck trying to get his way out of danger, and he will be able to survive. But the problem here is the bomb is down, and Tribe Gaming will once again own that information and get to work setting themselves up for this 3v2.
Now Mayhem need to find a way to, again, get that space, knowing very well the numbers are going to be in their advantage. Also because bomb is going to be down in through the middle, in through elevators, where Tribe definitely knows where it is, and now Mayhem will try to get that information, try to spread them out a little bit thin, and we'll play off the information of Blur here in through ticketing.
Well, both players for Team Mayhem hold sniper rifles. It would just be down to Tribe, allow them a chance to convert a shot at range. Otherwise, it's going to have to be some impressive quick scopes. Elcar now out for Kings. It looks like he wants to try to challenge the staircase. Checks the shoulder, catches Jez, rotation on the way, and Blur still has a chance to convert onto Rabalo over the top of a heady and mid-ticket. Hit marker comes through. Oh, here we go. Jez in trouble, but he stays alive maybe longer than he would have liked to. King still finds the kill. Just down to Solo. Another 1v2 for him over the top of the bomb site. Tough gunfight, and no, does not come through. It's Blur again. That is 4 straight rounds for Mayhem, and 4 straight rounds where Blur is the one to finish it off.
Kings was playing his life really well, and even though that he was spotted by Jez, Blur was able to shut down one member from Tribe, was able to deal some damage off Rabalo, got that information down to Kings to finish up that kill, and eventually got that round. A fast push coming in from Mayhem, though. It is definitely going to be really quick.
Pixel peek from Kings doesn't work out, so Tribe do get aggressive over the top of the A site, but Team Mayhem get a pretty solid read on this. They convert on first blood, and they've got Solo out of the picture as he has to back off of trains just to make sure he can keep his life. Raph trying to hunt him out. Not going to be allowed to through the smoke. Everything stays neutral at a 4v4, but the difference maker now is Cartel's able to get the plant off. Tribe trying to challenge this, and it's Saken who gets another double. Solo back into the picture, making a play around the back. Raph doing some aggressive plays of his own, deep over the top of the A site, and Blur actually may be able to convert this from deep. He's going to have an angle at this bomb up top, and Tribe have no idea where he's at. First shot lands. Blur, can you make it? Another one. Solo over the top of the bomb. Pistol for Blur. 1v1. Solo caught off, and again, it's Blur. My heavens, 5 straight rounds. Give Blur credit for every single one of them as Team Mayhem take map 2.
And we were hyping him up. In the start of this broadcast, Blur made his team blurred the lines as to how are you going to be so good when it comes to a sniper, and he was the difference maker here in S&D. Winning back-to-back clutches. He probably did 4 times in this S&D Express. But my goodness, that last round, he knew that that bomb was not planted for him. That's why he had to move further forward. And Last Tribe member did not expect that at all, using the pistol to his advantage. And wow, what a great game from Mayhem. But also, I mean, it was a back and forth from Tribe as well.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations that I feel like every single time we watch Tribe gaming in a Search and Destroy, the first half it's like, okay, Tribe, we see you. This time it's very successful post-plant situations for their offense, but defensively, just not in a position ever to really kind of get themselves collected and get a read on the low number situations as we got deeper and deeper into rounds. 3v3s, 4v2s, things just going awry for Tribe Gaming. I mean, I think this round in particular is a very appealing one just due to the fact that it's a 3v2 situation against 2 sniper rifles, and Team Mayhem collected every single kill before Tribe could even shoot back. To a certain point, it becomes almost inexcusable, and it's just so far uncharacteristic to the Tribe Gaming we once knew.
19 on the board for Solo.
For the L.
For the L, exactly. 2 plants as well. But you're looking at the other side of things where you do have contrasting weapon choices to be your top dogs. Blur to create that space, to create those clutch rounds. Raph also getting up in your face and just creating a lot of chaos into the first side of those plants. So, I mean, everyone did their job here for the side of Mayhem, man.
Another big start for Team Mayhem, and that leads to very, very much so anticipations for them matching up against Luminosity. We got Gabby down on the floor with Tectonic to maybe get some reactions on how this series is going.
Thank you. That's right, Tectonic. We haven't gotten to speak to you directly very much as you have taken a different approach to this LAN. Can you tell me a bit about the experience watching from the VIP booth as opposed to being on the stage?
I'd say watch it is a completely different feeling. I've always played. This is going to be, as I see it on Twitter today, this is my first grand finals for regionals that I'm setting out. But, you know, as long as the guys do their thing, I'm cool with being on the bench.
And I know that we've spoken to a few of your teammates about it, and you were vocal on Twitter as well about the decision-making in the roster coming into this event. What has that been like when kind of regrouping with Hippo and the squad between matches and taking that different perspective from a competitive standpoint?
From a competitive standpoint, I know a lot of people think it's kind of like troll, but this roster was put together the day prior to this event. We were practicing in the back. They looked like they were performing really well, and I was like, guys, just stick with this roster.
We also talked a bit on stage about the camaraderie between teams, and I know that when you were hanging out, it looked like you were doing some co-streaming with some of the Tribe guys. What was that like on the content end of things?
You know, we were all just breaking down what could happen and what could have changed. They're all talented players. They understand what they got to do. So as long as they commit to it, I think they can reverse sweep.
And because I have you here and your big brain by my side, I do want to get your perspective on this match, because coming into this, there's so much talk about LG, of Tribe. Mayhem, though, feels like it's the talk of the town. Lots of upsets happening. They're up currently. What predictions do you have, not just for the results of this matchup, but kind of how it's going to play out in the rounds to come?
This could doesn't.
Keep going.
If the win control is going to be like a big momentum swing for them if they do win it, but I mean, of course, if they win, it's over. Wow.
Right. If Mayhem wins, it's over, is what you said in that last moment. And we heard a lot of the bit before. So thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck to you and the crew, whether from the sideline or the stage. Back to the show.
Yeah, I think Tech brings up a really good point about how Tribe can get back into the series. Crossroads being the map number 3, just to kind of make sure we label that out there with full cementing knowledge of what this third map will be. If Tribe can find a way to just roll through Mayhem here in map 3, Hacienda is great news for them, and Meltdown should also be pretty good news for them on top of that. So there definitely is a pathway here for Tribe to get back into the action, but at the moment, Mayhem continues to just impress and impress and impress.
I mean, you did mention it, like when it comes to control, control, it was always close when it comes to Mayhem, either if they won or if they lost. So this is definitely a mode that you get to see Tribe take advantage of, especially knowing that Crossroads, we did get to see that Mayhem kind of had a difficult time up against LG yesterday, but again, it was down to the wire round number 5. And it is really just up to that hero play that we keep seeing here in Mayhem that Tribe needs to shut down and also have a hero of their own.
Well, I will say, performance on stage has been unbelievable, and a lot of that is due to the Snapdragon Pro Series and what we've got out of our Elite Gaming Performance Meter. I mean, the players are getting some unbelievable values on this new Galaxy S23 Ultra. You can find one of your own and compete like the players you see on stage. Make sure you check them out. And big shout outs to Samsung. So, with that all out of the way, boy, I'll tell you, the fist bumps are through, but I mean, the confidence seems to be beaming on one side of the stage more so than the other. Tribe Gaming have to lock in if they want to try to get themselves still on top of the North American ladder. Otherwise, they'll find themselves in the 3 seed heading to World Champs. See how it all goes. Team Mayhem will be starting on the defensive side for Crossroads Strike Map number 3.
It is all up to getting that early mid-street control. And so far, it is going to be Tribe going in for that A rush. They do get to win some of the gunfight, but pressure being held here by Raph. But they are essentially very much aware that Tribe is going to be there on that A side. They're not going to be going in there with those early takes, yes, but they need to find a way to get fire room.
Well, the clock will stop again if you're in the venue, not familiar with how control works. Both teams start with 30 lives and a minute 30 on the clock. Offense's objective, try to capture both of these zones. Every tick will get locked if they can complete the segment, and then if they can get the whole zone, an extra 60 seconds gets added to the clock. Very regularly, especially on this map, the defense holds a ton of favor just due to how the map plays. And we're currently starting to see a little bit of that start to come through. First tick was locked at A, but Team Mayhem have bounced back nicely, and they hold a small edge in the life count.
Sagan is still in a really good spot to kind of just catch Mayhem off guard. He is really, really well played into their spawn. Up in top fire a while ago, and now just a tad bit right there. Ready for that A control later on, and possibility to go in there for that B control once that A does not happen.
Oh, Jesus, Dave stuck inside the top side of the offensive garage. Still gets away, though, and the help from Cartels is immediately there to follow. The life lead becoming very significant now for Team Mayhem's defense. The clock also starts to dwindle on Tribe Gaming's offensive attempt. A couple of bounce back kills will allow Tribe to avoid the spawn trap. You keep your eye on number 5 in yellow. Forsaken is deep in the defensive spawn, creating problems, but the thing about it is, Team Mayhem are like, fine, stay back here. Your team has to get onto a zone, otherwise the clock will just simply expire. And as they do eventually trade out Sagan, it will be a 10v5, no respawns remaining. Tribe Gaming trying to do what they can to get this extra 60 seconds on A, but the kills just keep on coming through for Jesus Saves and Team Mayhem. It's only a matter of time likely before they finish up this defense, and with those couple of kills, the clock will set on this opening offense for Tribe Gaming.
7v1 with just 1 second left on the clock is just not doable for Sagan to try and clutch up, and he was just too far away, and he needed to be there when his team needed him the most. Both sides are trying to go for that spawn trap, but when it comes to Tribe, like what you mentioned, they needed to go in there for that objective control as the offense. And now we're switching things through, where Tribe is going to be on the defensive side, where again, they need to find a way to control the map.
Cartels, the only one with an operator at the moment, but a couple of opening kills for Tribe do allow them a chance to earn some of their own. Expect to see those pretty early on in this round. Opening gunfights traded back and forth pretty evenly. Tribe Gaming not giving up any ground on either of the two zones. But Team Mayhem do provide themselves a bit of an exit and hold on. You've got Jesus Saves stopping the clock while he steps onto the B zone. A couple of kills also heading up for Team Mayhem over the middle of the map was Blurred, gets the War Machine in play, but it only finds a couple of kills. First tick of progress going to get locked at B, and Jesus Saves does not really have a lifeline here. He's just trying to finesse for as long as humanly possible, and he's done well to isolate. How about this for Jesus Saves? Gets a double, allows an opportunity for Raph to try to step in, pick up the baton where Jesus has dropped it, but he eventually gets taken down, and Team Mayhem's focus will be back over towards A.
Great start coming in from Team Mayhem, winning those gunfights here and through mid-street, and also by fire as well. And even though, yes, Blur weren't able to get as much kills as he wanted when it comes to that War Machine, is still able to provide a little bit of distraction with Jesus Saves, getting that first tick of progress in Bravo. Second tick of progress locked down, and A is slowly getting there, but unfortunately, it is going to be Tribe getting the best of them, just depleting that progress here in that A site.
Well, they have to do something miraculous, because you've got a lot of operators that are ready for Team Mayhem, and they're also enjoying a 5-life lead, only needing about half a tick of progress, as Jesus Saves continues to just individually dominate over the top of the B zone. 11v4. And at a certain point, I'm sure most players and people at home are scratching their heads saying, what is going on with Tribe? They get blown out of this round 2, 8v1 situation, and Team Mayhem are just completely indomitable.
They were blasting through mid, blasting in through fire, and they didn't even have to go in for the spawn trap. Jesus was there for that B capture. He basically captured that all on his own, knowing very well that Tribe were kind of busy trying to defend that A side. He was also winning essential gunfights also to lock that Bravo, the harder hill to get. And now Jesus saves, speaking up, brings out the Sparrow, takes out another, and that's going to be huge start for him.
Oh, such a smart play. Kings on one side with the Annihilator, Sparrow for Jesus saves on the other, and Tribe Gaming just don't have an exit to get out of spawn. One player is on the A zone, getting some significant progress done. Solo trying to assist with the Purifier, but only finds a single kill with it. But all that told, Seiken can still just lay prone on the A zone. So Tribe Gaming showing some signs of life. Cartel's trying to challenge. Seiken not sure which direction to look, but space keeps him safe. Second tick gets locked. Tribe still finding kills beyond this, and okay, here we go. Tribe Gaming, a little bit of a life lead, and it looks like the extra 60 seconds should surely be earned here on the A zone. Team Mayhem trying to do what they can to put together a last-second contest, but it's not going to work out, and Tribe Gaming now have 2 minutes and 15 seconds to try to capture B.
All right, that is definitely going to be signs of life from Tribe Gaming. Live still going to be a little bit even, 2 minutes on the clock. Tribe could slow things down. Blur tried to apply a lot of pressure in through that spawn trap, but not going to be successful. Tribe still getting the majority of that space down as they're trying to go and filter through that fire side, and it's a good thing that they're playing off their operators well.
Yeah, Seiken making his play over through the snow side of the map. The Annihilator is dominating Team Mayhem inside their own spawn. And with a member already on the B zone, first tick of progress seems pretty likely, but Tribe could decide just if they want to play this one out by just getting the kills, and that seems to be the case. They do jump back on. Clock stops at a minute 39. Space, another double for him as he starts to really heat things up for his squad. A very slow start for him, but looks like the effort for Tribe Gaming on this offensive round is going to work out pretty darn nicely for them, 10v4.
And now, 9v3, Mayhem gonna try to find those kills individually, but it's just not gonna be successful. 1v8, a tick of progress here in Bravo, but they will win when it comes to the gunfight and the lives. One on the board for Tribe Gaming, and they played it very well. The operators were good, and Mayhem kind of just did not have any kind of firepower to answer back when it comes to Tribe Gaming's performance. And now we're going to switch things yet again, and it seems like Tribe, that is going to be an important round win for them to still deny this 3-0.
Oh, they got it convincingly as well. Jez, Solo, both holding on towards some streaks, but the opening from Cartels through mid is perfect, and now the Purifier, no, shut down. Jez, a key elimination, making sure that the Purifier doesn't just immediately dominate through the defensive side of the map. Still one member on the A zone for Team Mayhem. That'll be enough to capture the first tick. Double Pred Missile being called in. That's going to give what you would think, a significant life advantage to Tribe, but neither of them really do much damage. Only a single kill tallied. But off the respawn, Tribe's defense once again start to gain some ground to work with as the defense steps forward.
Jez finally gets an operator of his own, and just as I said, that Jesus saves as well. So when it comes to the operators, they are even all across the board as they're trying to get that valuable positioning off of mid-street. And essentially for Tribe, they need to find a way to get that, to stop that push on either A or B. Tribe is still winning the gunfights, but Cartels is going to be pesky.
And he is after opportunity. Yep, he does lock in the second tick of progress. Tribe trying to contest, don't want to let this A zone go over. Clock stops at 48 seconds. Still contest over the top of the A zone. Blur trying to turn the tides as the War Machine gets called into action. Jez on the opposite side trying to get the Claw involved. And yeah, that's going to be just kind of split focus across the map. Tribe will allow this A zone to be captured. So an extra 60 seconds is added. We're going to get a 13v10 for the next possible minute 40.
Jesus saves, though, in a really good spot where Tribe Gaming will not see him at all. It's all up to the rest of his teammates to try and play around this. They're going to try to clear every single corner before they want to go in for that Bravo push, but they are going to put Raph there to try and divert the attention of Tribe Gaming towards that side of the map where they wouldn't know that Jesus is actually going to be right there in the corner.
Solo takes down the contestant on the zone. Long-range shots from Jesus. Works out for the first, but traded out. Jez keeps the lives in favor of Tribe Gaming. Sparrow also called in, but Stace only gets one before taking himself out of the picture, so Raph can still slide on. 6v5 situation. Solo, Purifier out, tries to control the top side, but he gets shut down immediately. Hold on, here comes Team Mayhem. 6v4 situation. Tribe have to get these players off the zone, and as they try to contest, they don't quite get the kills they need. Second tick of progress gonna be locked in. Tribe trying to work through the middle of the map, but they don't have any operators to play with. They have to do this the hard way. Now it's just down to Jez, and as he gets shut down, lightning strikes twice as Team Mayhem for the second time sweep Tribe Gaming, sending them out third.
Team Mayhem does it again in the same way that they did yesterday. A 3-0 up against Tribe. And Tribe, they fought valiantly. In that control, Jesus definitely saved here for his team. Being so good when it comes to that lurking position, getting that Bravo flag in the beginning all to his own. Also big plays in the corner and that big Sparrow play at the end. On the other side of things, Tribe also had Jez to try and equalize everything, but it just was not enough for the gunfire of Mayhem.
Unreal stuff. So Team Mayhem, on the second time they face up against Tribe, find the 3-0 sweep. We have Gabby center stage with Cartels to give us the post-game reactions.
All right, Cartels, what a performance from Mayhem. Once again, though, facing off against Tribe, same result as prior, but were there any major differences between the first face-off in this bracket compared to the second?
Not really. We just played our game. We kind of expected the outcome, and it happened.
You sound so chill for somebody that's been playing on LAN for the first time in their professional career. What has that been like?
I don't know. I wasn't really nervous. I'm always been chill, so this is really nothing, not gonna lie.
Ain't no sweat off your back, huh?
Nope.
All right, before I grabbed you, though, Jesus Saves came up, our MVP, our MVP. How often are y'all just hyping each other up to get prepared for competition?
A lot. We've been doing mid-game just to keep the team amped up so we won't, fold under pressure or nothing like that.
I do want to ask you a bit about the gameplay specifically. So I know that previously Tribe has been described as this aggressive team. Y'all have definitely found a way to kind of suffocate them, but a very different style from what we see from Luminosity, who you did already face. Things didn't quite go your way, and you will have that rematch. What are your thoughts when having to switch gears between two very different teams in the way they play?
I ain't gonna lie. It's our pacing and our tempo. I think if we get our tempo down for LG, we should be good. Yeah, we had a match Tribe's pacing because our team is a slower team, but it worked. So
if it works, right? Well, any last words on behalf of your team before going into that grand final?
Not really. I don't really know.
Saving it all for when you're on the stage playing.
The job's not done yet, so gotta wait.
No exit interview until after the job's done, right? Well, thanks for joining me on the stage. Best of luck in the match to come. Back to the desk.
Great stuff out there from Gabby, and great to hear from Cartels. I mean, again, these guys just have swag.
I mean, okay, can I just in the best way possible, he's like that overpowered NPC that you have as your friend on your team that you want, not just slaying, and my goodness, this guy is just, nope, no sweat on my back. We're gonna move on to the next game.
Oh, well, before we do that, let's reflect on this game, because a really cool one. So S&D was pretty nuts. Mayhem kind of went off on a tear. Mommy.
Yeah, they were definitely on a tear, man. I mean, when it comes to the performance, it was just unbelievable. 3-0 again up against Tribe, and definitely a team that is not to be slept with. A lot of people thought that they were that #1 seed here for NA, but it looks like they need to find some way back into the playing field and just to try to make some mid-round adjustments later on.
Well, we saw those mid-round adjustments in the first one as well on Arsenal. the hard point. And Alan actually wanted to dive deep into what started off of a big run.
Yeah, I think the thing about how this Mayhem team has played is when it matters most, they're making the right reads. And there is a really key moment when we got to the second set of hills on Arsenal in particular. So we have a chance to kind of break that down. This is when they went on a real big tear and started to string together a couple of hard points. And it starts over the top of the first hill. If we could just pause right off the get-go before the hard point opens, you're going to notice a couple of things. If you want to set up perfectly around Arsenal, this is exactly what you want. You control both sets of double doors. You've got a really good look in terms of how you want to try to assist on either side. And the only player inside the hill is going to soak objective time and then make sure nobody hits through vent. So as we back this up and we start to watch this back through, there's just nowhere for Tribe Gaming to enter. Every single point of ingress is being completely held down. But the big key is once the kills start to come through, there's a moment in here where Team Mayhem say, hold on a second, we've lost status of what's going on at the hard point, and if we pause again real quick, you're gonna notice a couple of things right off the get-go. This is where the status starts to get a bit contested. Kings is gonna pop out a very early Annihilator and absolutely dominate with it. Immediately after that though, you're gonna get an opportunity to see Cartels do essentially the same thing when he gets his War Machine. So you get 3 kills out of Kings. Team Mayhem continue to dominate over the top of the hard point. As soon as Kings starts to run out of ammunition, then you get the War Machine from Blur, and it's just a really good way to lock down this hard point once it starts to get in contest. The last thing, and how you start to turn this into a dominant moment for Team Mayhem and not just a small comeback moment, is as we pause one last time and finish this out, you're gonna see the status of the spawns move. Tribe all of a sudden have to play from the front, and as soon as this is aware, you're gonna get number 3 making a long route, and you're gonna get a very good setup going from the first hard point into second as we let these last couple of seconds move through. This is a beautiful moment, something that we saw in Arsenal during Black Ops 4, and Team Mayhem really executed to sheer perfection, and that allowed them to get that eventual huge cushion where they could eventually put this game out of reach, Tom.
Great breakdown shifts. It's really, really cool seeing this insight, and this was the beginning. Notice they were down a hell of a lot, and this was the beginning of 3 straight hard points,
straight hills,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah, that was really intense.
I mean, we saw the performance that they had yesterday up against Luminosity, and they already made changes, and it's only been, 24 hours since that game. So like what you mentioned, it's a classic way to play this map in Black Ops, and they were able to pull that off here in Call of Duty Mobile, and that's why you gotta pay respect to your elders, right?
I mean, that's the fun part, I think, about Call of Duty Mobile, having all of the maps from all of the games, and really you gotta dig deep into those histories and find those strats. But now we're looking to the future, and we're looking towards the finals. One more to look at the bracket. Luminosity Gaming has been waiting, and now, well, they gotta wait a little bit longer, because we have a break. But after that, Team Mayhem goes up against Luminosity Gaming. I'll see you there.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
What's good, COD Nation, and welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. It's been a fantastic weekend so far here at beautiful PAX West in Seattle, Washington. Inside, outside, either way, it is an experience, and that's exactly what we're doing here today. My name's F-Tot, I'm your host, and of course I'm joined here by two of the brightest in the business. It's Beef Mommy and Mr. I Hold Shift. And alongside of us, as we put on the Snapdragon Pro Series, we have our partners at Samsung that I'd like to take a moment to thank. Right over here, we have one of the greatest pieces of technology, and we'd like to thank Samsung for providing devices with top-tier performance, crystal clear displays, and lightning-fast response times. The Samsung Galaxy S23 series is the absolute best-in-class device for mobile gaming with exceptional battery life and incredible power. These devices are raising the bar for mobile gaming with unmatched speed from the newest, fastest Snapdragon platform ever. Available only on Samsung Galaxy. With epic power comes epic gaming. Level up your game with the Samsung S23 series to play just like the pros you see here today. Samsung really kind of pushes it forward, so shout out to them and shout out to you guys because we've got something to give away as well. There's a QR code somewhere. There it is. You can go ahead and scan it and enter to win. Use the chat command !PAX to enter.
For a second there, I thought you said, we're going to give away the phone. Oh, I was so excited. But yeah, definitely you want to scan that code. I love the PAX West energy. The crowd is absolutely amazing. I got these cute little fluffy headsets right here coming in from our friend Cinderella right there in the crowd. Let me borrow it just a tad bit. And again, look at Gabby. She's so beautiful and cute, but look who's beside her.
That's right. She's standing by with the senior producer of the Snapdragon Pro Series, Robert Ronglian.
Just as Tom said, I have Robert. He already did the title declaration, but I want you to tell us a little bit about your role and history within the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Yeah, sure. I've been working on the Snapdragon Pro Series before it was ESL Mobile, but for about 4 years now. So I'm the kind of creative lead. I work with our broadcast teams, with our design teams, with our event teams to make sure all this stuff comes to life and looks awesome.
Yeah, and we've had such a good time here at PAX West. We know that SPS is very much responsible for our experience here on these grounds and beyond. On behalf of the team at large, can you tell me a bit about the SPS vision?
Yeah, we're all about, our tagline is welcome to the air of everyone. So the whole vision is about making esports accessible to everyone. Younger people, older people, people who wouldn't have an access to PCs or consoles. And yeah, we're all about the open level, the challenge level, and the masters level. So we have an entryway for people who are amateur and a pathway for people who want to get professional.
And that SPS accessibility now available to the Call of Duty mobile community for the first time. The community has existed for some time, but now coming under the wing of the SPS. Now that the ball is rolling, what are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, we love having Call of Duty. It's one of the best game IPs ever, and having Call of Duty Mobile in the program is a really, really big get for us. And so we're really looking forward to Atlanta and the World Championships, and it's great to have our teams here on site. So yeah, we love having the Call of Duty Mobile community in the program.
I know you've gotten to see many different facets of the mobile community being involved since season 1. I mean, such epic moments like the Brawl Stars Masters that we had in Japan. With all of that considered, what are the takeaways from those big events that people can keep in mind when looking towards the World Championship to come?
Yeah, we learned a lot in Japan about how to put on a really amazing event for both the players and the fans, and how to make a special, exciting experience that brings something new and celebrates the game in a new way. And so we're looking forward to creating that in Atlanta for Call of Duty Mobile and for the community of Call of Duty Mobile.
I'm sure the community is very much looking forward to it. In fact, is there anything you would like to directly say to the Call of Duty Mobile community before we get into everything ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited to have you guys in the SPS family. Hope that you guys can join us on site in Atlanta or online and watch the broadcast.
Well, thank you, Robert, for joining me for this interview. And I'm already so excited about the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship to come that I think we need a little teaser of what we can expect. Let's take a look.
Still tucked underneath. Peeks around the corner, and it's too easy for Tectonic. First contact. Datri rocked.
The World Championships may lie in the future, but this is now. It's time to crown the kings of NA. This is your North American Snapdragon Pro Series Finals.
That's right. It is time for the grand finals of our Snapdragon Pro Series. Time to meet the teams. First up, stepping onto the PAX West battleground with every intention of maintaining their season's undefeated scoreline, hungry for their time to shine. Give it up for Luminosity! But what's a grand final without a little bit of chaos? Rising from the lower bracket for the rematch, a path of devastation in their wake. The stakes are high for Mayhem! And as our competitors ready at their stations, let's head back to the desk to set us up.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. The stage is set, guys. We've got Luminosity versus Mayhem. The crowd might have been louder for Mayhem, and I didn't anticipate that. Let's take a look at the bracket real quick and chow down on what we've got for dinner.
Here's the thing. We've had best of fives up until now. Best of 7 grand final, and Luminosity earned the advantage of having a 1-map lead coming out of the upper bracket where they beat Team Mayhem before. So a significant advantage here for LG coming from that winner's side, but not an easy path nonetheless based on how Team Mayhem are playing today.
Not at all, but you know what? Luminosity was the headline squad before we got here, so why don't we do them the favor and continue the conversation, because the blue and white, absolutely strong. If you missed it, this is the super team. Band, Tectonic, Envy, Vague, Washi, and Marshy. Tectonic isn't even on the field, and he might be one of the best players in North America. They talk about how they came into it, and listen, you feed the hot hand. He didn't want to mess up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, it just goes to show that every single member of this team is just so talented. And even though Marshy was only playing up until yesterday, it didn't really matter because their respawn game is just so on point. The question mark is, can Team Mayhem actually go and win their respawns up against a team like Tribe? That's a question mark for them.
On the other side, you've got Team Mayhem. These guys came in as the 3rd seed, and there is a hell of a lot of swag on this stage. They are confident, they are comfortable, and they're coming for you.
And here's the thing, throughout the entirety of the weekend, we haven't really seen in any matchup very many dominant maps. But when we do, it's Team Mayhem landing the domination against their opponents, including the matchup they had in the winners bracket finals. Only one of those maps was convincing, and it was the search and destroy that Team Mayhem was able to take control of.
And the wild part about it is it's not even like they hit theirs. They are coming from behind and getting their wins. They're starting up front and getting their wins. Blur, Jesus Saves, Kings, Cartels, Raph, and Pepe. These guys are hot, man. I'm telling you. Gabby said it before, though. You know, shout out De La. Stakes is high. You're coming in here, and you're going up against LG, who, that's the top card. They're expected to win if you missed for day one.
And this is a Mayhem team that seems like they're just going on a complete rampage. 3-0 Tribe day one, 3-0 Tribe today. They were able to kind of put a little bit of bleeding up against LG yesterday, especially in that search and destroy, won it in such a convincing fashion. And that's what we saw I don't know, I guess you could call it not a good solution for this team to have in that S&D, not having Tectonic on their end in that regard.
Sure.
But taking a look at what Mayhem will do is definitely going to be important.
Everybody looking to download their opposition. Best of 7 map vetoes coming at you, and so that's definitely going to change what we talk about here with respects to game modes and maps.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, first and foremost, when you have a control map pool that's only 3 maps large, LG doesn't just get an advantage by having a 1-map advantage. They get to essentially decide what the 2 control maps are going to be. But before we even have that conversation, map 1, Arsenal, back in the picture. This will be a fun one. It was played yesterday in the upper bracket final to the tune of a 250 to 203 that LG was able to take. So a bit of rematch happening off of Mayhem dominating in their most recent performance on Arsenal.
Oh yeah, I mean, they definitely did their homework in that 24 hours that they played it. Played a clinic up against Tribe, but later on, we're gonna be seeing Meltdown Search and Destroy, and oh boy, this is exactly what I wanted to see for the side of Mayhem, knowing very well that they perform so well here, and looking how they're such a good Search and Destroy team here in this playoffs. I'm looking forward to that Express later on as well, and I am expecting this will reach map number 6.
Yeah, this is the first time we were guaranteed to see map 4. So we discussed Arsenal. Kings, I think he dropped 50 earlier on that one.
Yes, he did.
And so Hacienda, how does that conversation go?
It's an interesting one because based on the group stage results, Simplicity back then, Mayhem now, didn't really play a lot of Hacienda. And I think overall, you should expect to see Kings being able to put together something similar to what he was previously able to do on a map like Arsenal. Thing is, LG's Respawn, I think, has really come to life this event with the substitution of Marshy in the mix, and he has really looked good at kind of changing tempo and getting involved early on the OBJ.
And we're gonna have map number 5, Control Raid. Loving this map mode combo, and to end it very much in a classic way. Obviously, this time around, compared to last year, right? You're kind of expecting here in game number 7 to end things in Control. Not this time around. We're gonna have S&D dictate who the winner is going to be here for that NA Finals. But again, going up against, touching up into that Raid where we already know that this team, both of these teams actually, are really good in Raid.
They're not just good at Raid. They're ready to take the server. A best of 7 determines the king of North America. I hold shift, and Beef Mommy are your commentators. I'll see you with the winner.
Let's get this thing going, man. This is going to be insane. Again, every single time that these 2 teams have played, the maps have been close, whether that was back in the group stage or, of course, most recently, yesterday to the upper bracket finals. Also really interesting to kind of keep an eye that firing range was vetoed out. So LG's Search and Destroy woes seem to have gotten into their heads a little bit here, not wanting to see Mayhem do the same thing to them once again. So, will they be able to get this thing done before we get to the distance? That seems to, I think, probably be the key here for LG. A 1-map advantage, first to 4 here, the best of 7. Going to Arsenal to kick things off first and foremost. Mayhem need to make a statement. Seattle, for the final time, we've got the grand finals for Call of Duty Mobile in the North American playoffs. Luminosity and Team Mayhem, let's get it on.
Luminosity yesterday did a number on Team Mayhem, but we saw the adjustments made by this team. And now it's going to be definitely a scrappy P1, as the control is definitely going to be right there, as it is Marshy getting an essential double, and it is still blue for Luminosity on the board.
Yeah, really clean for LG in the midst of all of that smoke coming over towards Team Mayhem. They deal with the pressure, and now an opportunity to soak up a lot of early time. Next hit off the respawn, though, for Team Mayhem. Jesus getting a double through mid-window. This will really put a lot of chaos into the front of LG. Trades back and forth, and Luminosity still holding on to the hard point. Team Mayhem not able to convincingly get their way through. Cartel's trying his luck through vent, but again, LG swatted back and stay on the hill.
Marshy has been electric here in P1, and just starting out with those kills definitely was a huge way to kind of give them that pace that they needed here. On the other side of things, Ban doing a number as well on the outskirts of the map, trying to figure out and cut rotation for Mayhem, and it's still Luminosity, man. 6 seconds left on the clock.
Perfect start for Luminosity. Marshy already on rotation. Again, that's the tempo change that LG needed. and they are going to be in a perfect setup as we open up P2. Team Mayhem empty from anything on the scoreboard to this point. Long route for Blur, trying to flip the spawns around, and he will have a teammate spawn with him. But will there be success as Team Mayhem try to set up this pinch? It's taking a lot of time. Fake trying to sniff it out, but gets shut down. The hit now for Team Mayhem, coming from both sides at the exact same time, but still, LG not getting out of the hard point. Ban surviving. Marshy's still fully healthy. Mayhem trying to hit this from the back, but LG here to reinforce, but not quick enough. Team Mayhem finally start to earn some points.
Big gunfights coming from Luminosity on the top side left, and definitely Barrow's control is something that you'd want. And you'd see Team Mayhem absolutely fight for it every single time, just because this was their weakness up against their game yesterday here in the same map, same team. And now it is a back and forth this time around, and Mayhem able to get those 13 points off the ground, but Luminosity still there for the scrap. It is still one last pinch from Mayhem that'll try to control this P2.
And Blur's already being tested on rotation. Band able to find him from behind, plus more to come maybe, but no. Team Mayhem will be able to kind of win out this rotation for the time being. Spawns will start to move as our rotation comes out, and Band actually spawns behind this play. Team Mayhem not able to fully anchor up these spawns. Band, can he play the spoiler? Shots over the top of planners. No, not going to work out. Key gunfight now for Raft. Early operators and score streaks starting to come on through, but Team Mayhem survived through the opening spree. Luminosity still trying to work this thing in from the front. Marshy playing through elevator side, can't quite catch the double. Blur not able to stay alive though in the hard point, and Washi will break things open with the assistance of not just the Annihilator, the Claw was also right there in his back pocket.
And now LG's bulldozing through. Even though that Team Mayhem had that early setup already here in P3, it does not matter. Luminosity is playing their operators right, and that's a scary fact to see if you are Team Mayhem, because that is one of the reasons why they were shut down yesterday. And now Luminosity able to get some points here. 20 seconds for them to grab. And now for Team Mayhem, one last time to go and push, but it's just too overwhelming as the rotation for next is going to ensue.
The ARs are just getting flat out outmatched right now for Team Mayhem. Blur has 3 kills, Kings only has 6. Talk about a difference comparatively to the 50 he dropped just a moment ago. Luminosity up nearly 100 points. Rotate over to artillery. Raph gets caught from behind, and Band getting on to 4 in a row. Now owns the hard point, can move forward. There's kill number 5, and the Pred missile will make sure he's not required to do much more. Wow, what a start for LG, growing the lead to beyond triple digits.
And the SMG line of Luminosity is just so good. They are cooking right now. Operators out this time around for Team Mayhem. Kings, the god of the Annihilator, tries to spot that one player, will not be greeted anyone else from that right side of the map, as you get to see that Marshy is able to get that nade kill as well. Just a lot of ways that Luminosity is actually trying to clear out the space, but it is still Mayhem getting a hold of it.
All Kings cartels both starting to come to life here. A little bit of momentum possibly to be earned in these last 20 seconds as Team Mayhem hold on to the hard point. LG trying to finesse with a couple of exits, but the kills are just not there. Jesus saves, shuts it down. That should guarantee the scrap in full, and now Mayhem can turn their attention onto rotation. Cartel's here first, trying to play the outside of Trophy, gets the first one cleanly, and has a Purifier that he could potentially pop if he could find the space to work it, but LG just completely overwhelm him, and the rotation will be won by the team in blue.
And now for Mayhem, spawn is going to be right there by Robo. That's definitely going to be important if we do get to see that Mayhem into that rotation. Definitely will be won, but unfortunately for them, they are going to be dropping and not winning those engagements. So right now, Team Mayhem need to find a way to kind of slow down just a tad bit and not just leave it into a 1v1, as Luminosity already right there in the hill, and this is where they're really good to hold.
Yeah, individual gunfights just continue to go the way of LG, not allowing Team Mayhem to get fully set up. Ban Purifier out. Getting shot from a multitude of angles, though, doesn't know where exactly he needs to turn the attention of this operator. Trophy system down for LG, trying to hold on to this back 30 seconds. And honestly speaking, Bandits hasn't had the point to even pull the trigger on this Purifier. Everyone's just getting decimated before they can even get to the hard point. Finally, Team Mayhem find a way to kind of crack the code and contest for a little bit, but it's just not enough. Not yet, at least. Team Mayhem find themselves down right around the 100-point mark as we rotate back over to P1.
This is where we saw Luminosity just get so many kills, especially with the help of Marshy. This time around, though, let's see if Mayhem can try to do the same thing here. It's definitely not too late for them to try and pick up the points. And what we saw a while ago is they had a full unified effort to try and stop the push from all 3 entrances. This time around, though, it is Luminosity that will have the more favorable sides. And you can see player number 1, that's Band, going all the way there, trying to go in there for that back push. And
well
that's
done.
The kill that they
War
definitely
Machine,
needed.
this has been so good for Blur. Every single time we get back to this first hard point, he finds a way to get 4 or 5 kills. That may spark something here for Team Mayhem. Washing Annihilator out from mid-window. He doesn't have a lot of support here. He's essentially by himself with only one other teammate, but a key kill over the top with the backside best means that now LG can start to flood. One player down in the corner, though, completely slips, breaks the camera. Washi, last one left, able to get on to contest. Team Mayhem looking very longingly at this last 20 seconds, needing to get back into the game with it, and a couple of fadeaway kills will continue to see this hard point contested. Pred missile called in by Blur, but it only finds one on the rotation. Raph's got to get it done himself, and boy, does he ever. Scrap time earned for Team Mayhem.
Now both of these teams are trying to race in through that rotation for P2. It is Mayhem getting that top side in through artillery that will try to get that top side. And also for Luminosity on the other hand, they will have that spawn. But what we've seen already is that you don't necessarily need to have this spot as long as you have your gunfights being won here on that left side.
Yeah.
Although one person in the form of Band will definitely try to control
Doesn't matter, King's Annihilator just so primed and ready. The ARs for Team Mayhem really starting to get involved. From what was essentially just 6 kills from Blur in the first rotation, he's up to 17 lately. LG find a way to still crack the code, break on through. Gunfights being won on both sides. King's in trouble, tries to finesse with the pistol, but does get pushed aside. Mayhem now trying to flood through the middle of the map. Smoke will allow them to try to get over the top of the railing, but the kills, again, just not convincing enough. We only go to a status of contest. King's over the top, big gunfight over the back, and he does win it. That allows Mayhem now with numbers to really look good at this last 20 seconds.
Big gunfights, especially in the side of Kings, that will try to cut that rotation from Luminosity as they're going to try to get these last few points of scrap. Rotation now for Luminosity is going to be right there. They only have one player with the operator on the ready. That will be Marshy. On the other side of things, Mayhem is definitely very well equipped to try and break into the hill. But one side, though, Kings is going to be slipping, passing through that spawn for next.
He just has to hold his life. Teammates are on the way. LG are not fully aware of where this Team Mayhem rotation is coming from, and a couple of gunfights do come through. That should flip the spawns around. LG actually get one more member to actually spawn backside staircase. So there will be a chance for LG to try to bunker up and hold on to this. Vague pops out the claw. Damaged heavily as Raph actually the one to win things out, and he's got more in front of him, but Marshy, War Machine out. He gets the first. Still keeps his life for a little while longer, but Team Mayhem do secure a bit of a break. Now they've got the explosives of their own. Blur, able to operate the War Machine to clear up the front. LG trying to work their way back in. One player has snuck through in the form of Band, trying to make his way through the backside staircase, but he's shut down, and Team Mayhem get the secure break.
What a scrappy spawn. As you saw, both teams are actually spawning right on top of one another. And now with 18 seconds left on the clock, essential time, most especially by Team Mayhem, as they're slowly closing in the gap right now. So yeah, I mean, both teams brought out their operators and played it well, but this is definitely a good case for Team Mayhem, especially for that rotation next, where it looks like they only have to deal with one player, but that one player had that purifier.
Band does get shut down. Team Mayhem, over the course of the weekend playing this map, have not necessarily at any point dominated this fourth hill, but they have been really good at being able to take a couple of moments of punishment into their opponents. Can they do it here versus LG? And how about Cartel's first couple of kills come through, but Envy responds with a Sparrow of his own. He takes down 3. Kings with a shutdown in his own right. Numbers for LG onto the hard point. Flashes all embellish as the contest continues on. Key moment here for Team Mayhem as they get 3 straight kills. Washi with the Annihilator, the only one left, and he's got a lot of things he's got to look at. He's shut down as well, but LG, support from behind, secure the break. 30 seconds still to fight for.
This is probably one of the most chaotic hardpoints that I've ever seen in this playoffs. And now taking a look at what we have though here in P4, Luminosity got the better of Mayhem at the very last end, but it's still being contested heavily by Mayhem. And now they're going to be getting some of the points down here. It is still Luminosity that will try to touch this point and try to contest it one last time before that rotation into P5.
Really clean stuff here from Team Mayhem. 8 seconds of scrap time. Not only have they found the majority of kills, but they've also restricted Luminosity from fully rotating. The only one who's over towards new is number 1 in blue, it's Band. And he's just trying to finesse his life. Cartels gets punished, but of course now the information is there, and Raph quickly secures the trade. 216-180. Team Mayhem in the opening time here at Trophy. Vague, Claw trying to make his way through Cafeteria. He gets shut down from behind. Hold on a second. Team Mayhem have again a Claw of their own. And Raph, he's able to turn that into 3 straight kills. Team Mayhem looking good to get over 200 points.
Luminosity getting a taste of their own medicine back in P5 in that first set of rotations. And now they're going to be scrambling and going on in these one-on-one engagements that we saw Mayhem do a while ago. And now the score streaks and operators are going to be out for Team Mayhem as they're slowly equalizing it with Blur, trying to provide even more of damage here.
Team Mayhem could actually keep Luminosity pinned on this Robo spawn. they could rotate back over to P1 safely if they can continue to find the kills. Team Mayhem are going to find the eliminations to likely lock down this scrap time. One last play from Envy. Tagged up, not going to get traded though. 10 seconds of scrap goes the way of LG, and take a look at the minimap. LG are in the new hard point already. Something has to break early. Could it be Jesus Saves again? He's got the Sparrow at the ready, but as he gets shut down, Luminosity will regain the lead as this first hard point opens, pending they can take care of Raph.
Raph is going to be stunned out, though. That's information tag for Luminosity. It is still going to be that one player that will make the biggest difference in the form of Blake. There you go.
Gets the double with the Sparrow. LG still have numbers inside. Band, Purifier, clears out one side. Team Mayhem have to find a way to get in, and Band is not allowing them to do so. He locks down one side. The rest of his teammates focused on the other. 237 to 225. Team Mayhem need to find the kills. They need to find a way to contest this hard point, but they're just not finding anything in the kill feed. Envy's got the Sparrow out. Everything's getting shut down. Final 4 seconds. Mayhem have to find a way in, and there's simply no entry allowed. LG stave off the comeback and take the first map.
Man, that is just calm, cool, collected gameplay from this team, and they were able to bring things back up and just forget about that P5 and go for next set of rotations. They were also timing their operators well, and this is why they won yesterday in the first place. And even though that we did get to see Mayhem have a different gameplay, it just doesn't matter because Luminosity is just so good when it comes to their efficient operator usage.
It all starts, I think, as well, just kind of really noting on the difference in the AR line. LG's ARs were dominating on early rotations, keeping Kings out of the picture pretty much for the essential first rotation, deep even into the second. They eventually started to pick things up, and you'll see it on the scoreboard. Cartels really was a spark for this Team Mayhem squad to help that comeback start to come together, but flat out, Envy, it was just looking so solid alongside Washi with the ARs, just not allowing Team Mayhem to do much of anything in this first set of hills.
And it really was Band as well. In this particular map in general, he's just so good when it comes to that lurker role to always catch Team Mayhem off the guard, and it really is impressive to see. And even though that Team Mayhem was able to kind of come up in that P4, P5 rotation and get some points down, it really was that 1-2 steps ahead Luminosity gameplay that we did get to see that they were able to finally pull through.
Unreal stuff. So the final score of the first map, 250 to 225. And again, just to reiterate, as if you joined us late, Luminosity out of the upper bracket also gets the benefit of a free map in this best of 7. So technically speaking, they are up 2-0 in this grand finals, first to 4. Then yeah, look at the other side. I mean, you have Cartels getting to 42 and 33. A key linchpin to help this team get back involved. Raph also tallies the most amount of hardpoint time in the server, but sharing is caring for Luminosity. Everyone nearly over a minute and a half on the hardpoint time, and a very even dispersion of kills across the board as well. All things looking positive for this LG hardpoint.
Yeah, when it comes to the map picks and bans, it really was favoring the Arsenal towards that LG side of things, just because of how well they performed up against Team Mayhem, and it just seems to be like they're so polished in their gameplay, and even though they were down a little bit in that game, they were able to pull things through and look into the horizon. And speaking of, it is going to be Meltdown right there for that search and destroy in next. And like what you mentioned already, they're up 2-0. We have a guaranteed game 4, yes, but this is the ballpark right now of Luminosity.
All right, LG's search and destroy has not looked as good as it did back during the groups. And I think you can attribute some of that to the fact that, yes, there's a new 5th member in, he's running a different role, so there is some figuring out to do. But as we heard from Jesus Saves this morning, all they were talking about was they just needed to set up and go over what their setups and game plans were going to be. So let's see if that could make them a little bit more complete here in this Meltdown surge. Mayhem over the top already, getting the bomb planted down at B. And for Luminosity, this is going to have to be flat out retake. And a lot of it has to come through mid-map. And Jesus Saves is already making some problems occur deep over towards the defensive side of Sniper's Nest. Washi has to back off. And you look over to Vague, he's got to make a play happen. And he does at least catch Raph for one. Marshy tallies another, so now we get to a 3v3. Vague going quickly, but the spam, the pre-fire, all looking pretty solid. Jesus Saves, turn, camera gets broken, 1v1, hold on, Cartels, yes! Able to secure the final shots needed. The retake does not come through successfully.
It was so good that, yes, Jesus Saves got that first blood, but Blur was actually right there by Boiler, wasn't inside completely, was just waiting for that audio cue, and instead went in there for that long wraparound from that space through mid, and eventually backdoored Luminosity, was able to get that information and forward it into Team Mayhem. Yes, it was close, but here we go. It's the same type of case.
Opening nades from Team Mayhem do land. Vague taken out of the picture early. Washi hoping he can connect onto something desperate with a quick scope, but he does not get much of a chance to convert. Bomb planted again quickly. 5v4 post plant in favor of Team Mayhem. NV gets traded out for his first eliminations, and yeah, the post plant for Team Mayhem looking very cool, calm and collected. Last one left is Marshy for a 1v3. And he is making a lot of noise through mid. Does get caught out by Jesus Saves in a second quick round tallied for Team Mayhem.
And that was even cleaner compared to that first round where it obviously went down into a 1v1. Team Mayhem did a phenomenal job at just, yes, they lost that lurker up in that A side, but everything was just so precise here in this generator side. And now Team Mayhem will have a different look. Still, Blur going to be right there on that boiler side. Oh no, it's not going to be different. It's going to be the exact same thing.
The exact same four-man push to be. Trophies are down, smokes come out. This time though, Envy backs off. He actually finds a free first blood. So for the first time, Luminosity will have numbers for this retake. Band tries to get aggressive on a quick pinch, but shut down by Blur. Eventual trade comes out. LG still looking to find success off the backside of this play. Envy from the front, getting a lot done himself. Also scouts out Kings at range, but he does not know that Cartels is still playing on top of the bomb site. Kings, the alarm bell starting to ring on the flank. Not necessarily the cleanest shots in the world, though. Tries to mantle up towards the sniper's nest, gets the first, and now it's just one more to grab. Marshy playing up through the middle of the map, and no, Cartels there again to meet him. And 3-0 up go Team Mayhem.
That's quick. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it looks like that quick B hit is definitely going to be something that they will have an easier time on. And even though this time around Blur went down because Luminosity just sent 3 players going into that rotation through spawn, definitely just gave them a little bit more gas. And now for Team Mayhem, though, I mean, it's the same thing.
Luminosity to find a way to stop this plan from happening so quickly. Same trophies, same smokes, although that one may not have actually gotten all the way to the B site. No, it hasn't. So Cartels may be in a little bit more danger than normal. LG flooding through mid-tunnel at the moment. Washi takes down one. That's actually Blur watching the flank. So now Team Mayhem on this post plant have a different concern. And as they rotate back to deal with the flank, there's actually none there. Luminosity have fully stacked from the front. Now the retake with full numbers for LG, starting to make its way on towards the site. Jesus would have to save this round, and he just stays completely hidden inside the smoke. Can he play spoiler? First shot's not necessarily clean. He gets the kill, but it's not enough to stop LG from hopping on for the defuse. And that comes through for LG to get on the board.
And that is a good adjustment coming out from Luminosity. The fact that they didn't put any more effort into going in there for that flank, knowing very well that they will be met by at least 1 or 2 players from Mayhem, and instead wanting to overwhelm into that right side spawn, which is possibly one of the best ways that they can go and perform here, waiting for that post-plant situation. Same case now here for Team Mayhem, a full flood going in through Bravo.
But Blur is not going to be sniping through mid. He's got an AR to watch this long cross to keep the pitch safe. So a different look as far as the passive side of this setup is concerned for Team Mayhem. But the same aggression and tempo to get the bomb planted still comes through. How do you deal with this post plant this time if you're LG? No longer do they have the opportunity to play off the flank. Washi not going to be allowed to connect on anything with the sniper rifle either. So the SMGs are going to have to get it done. Jesus gets taken down quickly. Trades not coming through at the moment. LG starting to grow some success here from the front. Raph backs up, has to try to do this himself, and that's a little while longer. Defensive smoke comes through. Raph slides right on into it, trying to take the diffuser off the bomb. And even though Band still stays alive, he's not allowed to stay on for the site, but the 1v1 over the top. How has Band managed to do that? Oh my goodness. A transfer from the heavens, and Band saves the day to get LG their second round.
Band just doing Band things and getting stuff done. There you go, off the smoke, and that kind of gave them a lot more advantage playing his own smoke. Team Mayhem, even though they had Blur right there, he was too far away. Getting that kill, yes, but when it comes to trying to go in for that 2v2, it just didn't matter. He was too far to give his teammate any kind of support. And now for Team Mayhem, they're doing the same type of case. It's that Bravo push again.
They're just trusting in the fact that we're getting this bomb down so quickly. Let's just keep having that. But the difference this time is that Team Mayhem are actually playing forward on towards generators, and Envy is not going to be allowed to do much. A couple of shots were tallied, but the first blood is clean for Team Mayhem. The post plant now different as it's playing aggressively through the defensive side of the map, and LG are having a tough time figuring out how they want to get this retake going. From the middle of the map, Washi will drop. Blur just backs on up and says, come find me. He's got the clock and a lot of allies around him, and Team Mayhem, unless something goes completely awry, this should be a very comfortable 4th round for them. And yeah, just nowhere for LG to go. Good adjustment from Team Mayhem in a slight regard to allow them to end this first half 4-2 up.
Fly swatter from Blur. That was a beautiful shot. And now this time around, I feel like this was an essential. Faster comms when it comes to Blur situation, being always outside, getting that kill, and now rotating very quickly, going into Sniper's Nest, providing his teammates a little bit more cushion here. And now as we're switching sides, Luminosity now going to be on the attacking side, wanting to have more of that A hit this time around.
Double stack defensively, though, for Team Mayhem in and around the site. Also assistance through the middle of the map as Cartels tries to get involved, but it's banned, winning the first 2 eliminations, and that should lead to a very rapid plant for LG. Post-plant breakdown has to come through as Cartels tries to switch things up, but no chance there. Marshy finding the kill, Vague cleaning up the other, and now it's just down to Blur for a 1v4.
Tries to cook that nade. Will he get a hit? No, he's not. No information whatsoever. He also is going to be smoked out. Ban's going to be right there to welcome him. And you already know he already had that 2 kills down, and really up to timing whether or not these 19 seconds will matter. But obviously, it would be so difficult to go and pull off this 1v4 clutch, and Ban takes it again.
Clean stuff on the opening for LG. All results in the opening double from Ban without question. So now all of a sudden a new contender has arrived when it comes to Meltdown with that A hit, finding a lot of early success. Team Mayhem had a decent setup, all things told, when it comes to dealing with it, just could not quite find the kills. So do they adjust, or do they trust that their setup is going to work out? This time, actually, there's a small adjustment. Raph looking to get aggressive with the shotgun, and yep, that works out. A couple of quick kills tallied from Team Mayhem defensively. Vague trying to hold on to the A site, but no chance. And a quick round responded to as Team Mayhem get to their 5th.
And it was good. It was really fast. They were winning their gunfights in through mid, also inside of A as well, because it was a less heavy push coming in from Luminosity there on that A side. So now we're kind of learning what Luminosity really wants and what is working out for them. So far, though, it will be that B hit this time around. It will be a different look. Will only be one player right there in for that alpha.
And Vague, I'm sure, is just trying to create some noise and see if he can catch anyone on early flank. Marshy trying to get aggressive, caught up top on Jenny's. Opening trade gets to a 4v4 early. Blur defensively has to move back over to try to assist on a contest over the top of the B site. And a quick pinch starts to develop for Team Mayhem defensively around the back. Being watched by Washi at the moment, but he's kind of split focused as he's carrying the sniper rifle. Cartel's in position to hit, but they may be waiting for Team Mayhem to actually try to hit this from the front first. Seems to be the case. But as Washi catches one in the back, quick snipe not going to land. Kings testing him, gets the trade. Now all over the top of the bomb site. Blur turns the tides. Numbers now for Team Mayhem. Last one up disbanded. He could not respond to the high ground play from Raph. Team Mayhem get to 6, and they're on map point.
Loving the patience from Team Mayhem, waiting for the rest of their teammates to go in there for the rotation, to provide that pinch. And now we are at map point. One more round for Mayhem to make this into a 2-1 in this 7 series. Luminosity need to find a way to catch up slowly but surely, but it looks like they're just having such a difficult time. And now, possibly going to be a slower approach as Bomb Care is going to be right there in that Bravo, trying to get that information down first.
Yeah, this is Luminosity trying to find kills at mid-map to start this off the round. The thing about it is the patience over the top of the B site has allowed Jesus Saves to get very far forward on his own defensive aggressive path. LG, no, oh, wow, okay, Cartels. Tough gunfight, still takes down Ban for first blood. And now more problems start to accrue for Luminosity, who have no map present. They're down a man, and they're down a lot of nades as well. They spent a lot trying to find kills through mid.
I mean, it's understandable that they wanted to go in more for that default setup. They did not have any information on the other hand. And now it is still Mayhem trying to get that control down. They just had to worry about one player, but that player will be down as Mayhem is going to secure this search and destroy. Finally, one up on the board. But there's still a long way to go, but they played this search and destroy so well. They were just countering every single play that Luminosity had.
Mayhem have played 4 search and destroys this weekend, and the closest tally was the one they just played versus Tribe, and that really wasn't all that close, a 7-4. Both meltdowns they've played were 7-3 tallies. I'm telling you, this Team Mayhem squad did their homework over the course of the gap between the group stage and here in the playoffs. Their search and destroy is looking unbelievably good. And if that continues to be the case, there is going to be a major lifeline for them to not just get into the series, but to possibly find favor the deeper we go if this ends up getting to a map number 6.
And I mean, when it comes to the map choices later on, and we're ending things in Express where we know that Mayhem performs just so well, that could spell trouble for Luminosity, which are the favorites, and an upset might actually happen. But if you're a fan of Mayhem, that's definitely something that you're looking forward to later on. But that is for the future. But now, we get to see the kind of presence and composure. And it's something that we always say here for this team. That is just definite composure. And Cartels, man, still MVP.
It's just the setup that they put together on this map is so dynamic to where, I mean, a lot of the kills that Blur got were making safe the flank. From the offensive side, he's just kind of on an island, playing rogue, trying to be unpredictable. Cartels, the guy planting the bomb, is also not just allowed to get a free plant, but he's getting free exits and then turning it into eliminations. I mean, 6 plants. He planted every single offensive round for the side of Team Mayhem. That is not a common stat to look at, especially considering that he's also finding double up the number of kills that he has objective play. Impressive stuff from Cartels as he continues to, again, in my mind, be an MVP for this Team Mayhem squad this weekend.
And it's just amazing to see how just nonchalant he is when it comes to the LAN situation. We saw it a while ago in that interview with Gabby that he's just moving on into that next round. Seems to be the rising stars here in North America in general, not just here for the playoffs. And now you're seeing these new members going up against veterancy on the other side of things.
Well, a big bounce back map there for the side of Team Mayhem. Dabbing each other up, getting ready for now. Crossroads strike control. Saw Mayhem look really polished against Tribe just a moment ago, but you reflect back to the upper bracket final yesterday. This was the control map between these two squads. And it went all the way to around 5, and most of the rounds that were played came down to less than 5 lives apiece for both teams. So these rounds were tremendously close, and I'm sure reflecting back on it, Team Mayhem, I'm sure are thinking that this is a very winnable map for them in the series.
Man, control definitely going to be a little bit of a swing mode that we actually have, but when it comes down to it, well, Crossroads Strike definitely going to be an impressive map for both of these teams, which they play very well. This time around, it's going to be Luminosity on the offensive side.
Opening first blood good for Team Mayhem, and further on top of that, looking to dominate over the top of the A zone. Luminosity survive through, get a couple of trade back kills. Kings sniffing out the site, catching one, knows the second to the backside of the barrier, but Band responds, finds the kill. LG off their second respawn, still finding more eliminations with good mid-map control. Marshy sliding in, little wiggle and wag. Couldn't quite find the better of Cartels, but damage has been dealt. Second tick of progress is already locked on the A zone, and LG are not going to be contested for the third. So that will lead to a very early extra 60 seconds. Team Mayhem taking their defensive focuses over towards the B side of the map.
And take a look at that. If you did get to see Washi win that, he would probably have so much more of a fun time here in through that fire side where you want to have that spawn control for Luminosity, but he unfortunately went down. And now for Luminosity, they're just trying to get that pick off, trying to get that rid of that one player from Mayhem. That will be Kings.
Team Mayhem are looking to get a little bit of spawn control over towards Luminosity's side of the map, and it's costing them a lot of lives. LG out trading, out fragging, and now a chance to get onto the zone safely with a trophy system of smoke embellishing the majority of the lines of sight. Jesus through mid. Does he have any idea that there's a player literally right next to him? Takes a slide shell, but Band was ready for him the entire way through. 15 plays 12. More kills for LG, who are still on top of the zone. And there's just no angles here for Team Mayhem to clear off number 5 and Marshy. More kills for Vay, keeping the backline safe. And this is looking good for maybe win by capture. Second tick gets locked. Mayhem still trying to wriggle back some control, but unable to do so. And now the lives are just so reduced. More kills from Envy and Washi. And it just comes down to a decision right now of how does LG want to put this offense out of grips. And it looks like it may just be by capture. Band steps on. No one here to contest immediately. Here's the challenge from Jesus. Saves, and okay. He's able to wiggle back and wrangle some control. And in the meantime, depletes the entirety of the third tick of progress. So we go to a 6v5.
This time around, though, the tides are going to turn. What an essential gunfight that Mayhem won. Just getting rid of Band off of that B zone. And now they're just waiting for the clock to dwindle down. 2v5 situation, though, as Marshy is able to get rid of Raph. And they are in a great position to try and win this 1v4. But it is up to Kings to try and stop that third tick of progress.
And he's got to find the kills. He catches a couple of toes, but not enough damage to tally the elimination with the double stack on. LG will just stack onto the point and win by way of capture. Got tight, though, I'll tell you that much, considering how quickly and pretty much how freely LG were able to take the A zone. Team Mayhem able to battle back, but not quite enough. So LG, a very coveted opening offensive win.
That was very tight. And now we're switching things around here. Team Mayhem, even though they brought it close, needs to find a way to be more dominant. And now they're going to be going in there
Oh
for that capture. And early operators coming in from Luminosity.
Literally everything that they had earned is spent in the first 5 seconds of this round. And for only having a 1 life advantage, Team Mayhem had to be really grinning from year to year right now. Still a couple of kills to come through for LG, but Band is also pulling out the Purifier early. This is a very expensive opening for LG, and outside of killing off the first 30 seconds, they don't really have much of a life lead. Band is stuck at mid-map with the Purifier, and all of a sudden, Team Mayhem are going to have a chance to stop the clock and get some progress done here at A.
LG just brought out all of their big guns, and they weren't even able to get that kill. Was not efficient at all, and it was just single-handedly brought down by pure gunfight from Mayhem. And now as we're seeing that for Team Mayhem, they're going to be slowing things down, knowing very well that Luminosity is out of gas. It's time for them to finally put everything at 100.
Clock is going to be a bit of an issue here for Team Mayhem. Kills come through very convincingly and cleanly. That allows Team Mayhem to stack the zone on A. Purifier out for Cartels inside of Fire. Takes down the first, keeps his life. Trying to play for the region. He's got assistance nearby. This could get very deadly for Luminosity if they get stuck outside their spawn. Extra 60 seconds going to be tallied with the full completion of the A zone. 2 life advantage for Team Mayhem. And all they've spent is a War Machine and a Purifier. Now Raph pulls out the Claw as the threat towards the defensive spawn trap starts to come through, but Vague finds a trade and Luminosity get back into the map.
And now for Team Mayhem, they had an advantage already by being further forward, but now Luminosity is able to bite back by being patient as well, knowing very well that there were operators inside of that fire. But then now it is going to be Mayhem trying to be pushed back. They do have a lot of time to play with though to capture this B zone, and in between them, it is going to be equalized when it comes to that lives.
They have to keep an eye on Kings. If he can get an Annihilator in towards the defensive spawn, this round may just get out of hand. A couple of trades back and forth. Pinstrut goes to kill feed. It's going to be the Sparrow for Jesus saves first. Trying to see if he can catch any defenders, trying to contest the zone, and he does. He catches out 2. 8v8 the situation with a minute 10 on the clock. Annihilator still in the back. Actually, no, Cartel's used it, pardon me. So he doesn't get much value for it. Or, excuse me again, Kings is the one operating the Annihilator. He hasn't used it yet. 6v6. Sparrow will expire. LG still holding on to a little bit of high ground control. The first tick of progress hasn't been fully locked. Vague, good prediction, but Jesus saves, gets the kill. Trade from Envy. 5v5 situation. Cartel's turning the tides. Now the Annihilator's out for Kings. Using this just to lock down the top side of the map, 5v2, and he may not even need it. LG are stuck on the wrong side of the map, and it's just down to Vague for 1v4. Could maybe catch one by surprise, but Raph slips away and should have plenty of help nearby, you'd think, for this trade to come through. But Vague's going to catch one now to the 1v3, and no, can't quite get off the catwalk, and Team Mayhem get an offensive round of their own.
It was very patient from both of these teams. We saw the pendulum kind of swing a little bit. The ball was going into different courts at a certain point. And now for Team Mayhem, they found a way, especially with their operators, to try and play with it very smartly. Able to equalize, take a breath, and now let's see what will happen as that fight for Catwalk definitely going to be won by Mayhem right now.
Yeah, Blur pulls out a bit of a wild card. Sniper rifle gets into play, finding the first 2 kills. Luminosity still on the A zone. Marshy trying to get some damage done with the War Machine, but Blur's going to take down 3 with the scope in his first life. Some good value there for Team Mayhem's defense, and now the SMGs start to push forward. A double out of Jesus saves allows Kings to get up top over towards platform. Gets one, can't quite find a way to spam down the second, and with that Band all of a sudden has gained entry for Luminosity onto the B zone.
Raph on the spawn though, the offensive spawn, and you definitely don't want to have this guy around you. He has a kilo to play with, meaning that he could definitely go in for those long-range engagements. Washi will be smoked out, will try to kind of deny that push coming in from Team Mayhem, but it is still going to be even.
20 plays, 19 second tick of progress at B looks likely. And actually, Team Mayhem may give this up. Blur is hoping he can connect with the War Machine, but Marshy just goes prone and gets out of there. Envy Sparrow takes down the threat of the War Machine. He's still even on the lives, but it's going to be 2 minutes and 7 seconds on the clock for LG. In a map that we often see a lot of defense coming through, I'll tell you, both teams looking very primed and ready to go on their offensive rounds. Envy still a couple of Sparrow shots left. Gets back over to the LK, and kills will allow LG to make the transition over towards A.
And now player number 3 in the side of Mayhem, Jesus Saves, will try to be that playmaker later on when the rotation in through mid-street happens for Luminosity into that A capture. It will still be that one player on the other side though, that will be Vague, that will try to get that tank room control, but will be shut down. And there's so many things happening on the back end that are so huge, and Cartels is going to be one of them.
Raph pops out the claw just to make sure he can lock down the middle of the map. Luminosity lose their life lead, now down 2. Minute 25 on the clock, and they are under threat respawn trap, and Raph is feeling it. Trying to track players. Stop it, y'all. He runs out of claw ammunition right at the wrong moment, so LG go 3 straight kills. And we're down to single-digit lives for the 3rd straight round. Minute 10 on the clock. LG nowhere near this A zone at the moment, though. And Blur wants to make sure of it, but Marshy gets the better of them. 7v7, 60 seconds on the clock. LG starting to get back some control through mid. Band also trying to get up top into Cage. And he may actually blow this play wide open. Hold on, look at number 1 in yellow. He's gonna get behind 2. Band's gonna be able to pop the Purifier, find 2 kills. 4v2 situation. Numbers for LG, and they have the clock stopped at 55 seconds. Can anyone from the side of Team Mayhem reduce Band and contest this A zone? Raph trying to get it done from the front. Long route from Jesus Saves, trying to pinch this up, but LG, they get the second tick of progress locked in. Washi puts down Jesus Saves, all down to Raph for a 1v4, caught outside the front of the tank, and he will not be able to tally any more kills, and we stay all offense.
Everything is just so close between these two teams every single round. It really is definitely down to those individual plays. We saw that from Band here in Luminosity, that last minute Purifier going in from the flank definitely was the reason why they won that round. And now, gunfights being won right now for Mayhem in through Catwalk.
Jesus only getting 2 with the Sparrow, though. It gets pretty much instantly traded out. But Team Mayhem immediately onto the A zone with numbers. They're quickly capturing this first tick of progress. Cartels into the Purifier. He's also got a little bit of success starting to brood over towards the B side. So options here for Team Mayhem as they've got control in the middle of the map. They've got players on both zones, and Luminosity doesn't have anything to work with. It's already a 27 playing 20. Second tick of progress already done on the A zone. And this is just a runaway round for Team Mayhem. They're gonna get the extra 60 at A, and they've already got 1 tick of progress on B. If they even need to capture it, this may just be done in lives in the blink of an eye.
This is probably one of the more different rounds that we've had here. It's pretty far away when it comes to the life count. Definitely gonna give credit to Cartels, just applying a lot of pressure here in through fire. And also player number 5, that's Raph, trying to create chaos in through spawn as well. As that second tick of progress gonna be right there for them, it is going to be that life advantage that Mayhem definitely will have.
But LG are starting to win some gunfights to get a little bit further forward. Fake, try to be a nuisance in the offensive spawn. On a 2 spree. More in front, tough gunfight, and Kings puts him to rest. The life lead only marginally reduced. 16 plays 9. And Team Mayhem are just all over the defensive spawn. So difficult for LG to deal with. Cartels nearly almost gets to fully streaks as well, but the EMP not going to be earned as Team Mayhem still have the opportunity to walk away cleanly with this round. And actually calling a Pred missile, which does take down 2, so that should nothing but guarantee a round 5 in our near future.
And definitely it will be that spawn control that Mayhem definitely has in this particular round. 11v1 with Washi is definitely nothing much he can do at that point. But it was important to note with 2 players in that round. It was Cartels to create so much noise and fire. Also Raph as well. You would see them sometimes on opposing sides where Cartels would be on Rock, just forcing Luminosity to be spawned off into the right side, which will be greeted by Raph to get those kills.
Well, back over to another offensive opportunity here for Team Mayhem. Blur going to kick us off with a War Machine. Envy trying to respond with a Sparrow. Neither player able to find any connections. But Mayhem still get on the A zone with a couple of members. Trade comes out for both of our dueling operators. Marshy trying to retake. Raph, good awareness, almost gets all 3. Shutdown comes through though for Marshy in the A zone. Tick of progress will be fully depleted. We go into a 26 playing 23. And the Annihilator for Washi has to really come together, and a little jump shot will make sure of it. Back to even lives.
Man, that was an essential gunfight won by Ban. Just stop that push again from Cartels and Kings in through Fireside. Definitely going to be an important gunfight that allows them there in Washi. Woohoo!
Every shot lands. Washi now all of a sudden in the spawn of Team Mayhem. 3 life lead for LG. A chance for some very, very critical streaks to also be earned for Washi on top of that. Hunter Killer Drone will be sent out first, but he's got the Pred in his back pocket. Trades starting to come through on both sides. Team Mayhem trying to get themselves back over to this A zone. Here comes the Pred from Washi. Will land on to King. 17 plays 13. 32 seconds on the clock. Team Mayhem have to go, and it has to be over towards A. Band with the Purifier may late rotate into this and try to just single-handedly dominate through middle of the map, but hold on. Team Mayhem finding the kills they need. The Purifier gets shut down, and Mayhem have a chance to get on the zone with 20 seconds remaining.
And now with 18 seconds, 11 is going to be your lifeline. It's still going to be evened up, and all of a sudden, Luminosity is going to have to try and touch this point. And at the moment, it will be Mayhem that will try to get that first stick
they
of
need
progress.
the extra 60 seconds, though. Operators are on both sides. Vague on the backside of corner. Jesus hoping he could connect with the Sparrow. Only 9 seconds on the clock, but Vague gets him off the zone. 5v5, 5 seconds on the clock. Ban shut down. Mayhem could still stop the clock at the last second, but Marche comes out of spawn with the War Machine and maybe blows him off the map. Jesus saves, last one left. He stops the clock at 3 seconds, but cannot fight off the onslaught of LG, taking the crossroads strike and regaining their advantage in the series.
Oh my goodness, we're down to that last few moments yet again, with every single round almost, except one, was so close. That last War Machine from Marche definitely going to be a huge playmaker in that final round number 5. And it seems like these people that were kind of creating storylines about from both sides of the coin, it was Marche for Luminosity, it was Cartels for Mayhem, and they are stepping up big time.
But in the face of LG's cohesion and collectiveness as a recently reformed group of 5, LG, wow. Just late heroics so many times. We framed up this map based on what we saw yesterday, the upper bracket final. Almost every single round came down to single-digit lives. That was the case nearly again in each of the rounds we had here. But LG survived through it at the very last moment. Heck of a fight from Team Mayhem. But I'll say between Washi and Marche, both of them had critical operators here in round number 5 to give the advantage to LG and then eventually allow them to get to the finish line where Jesus Saves was just completely isolated with nowhere to go.
It's the timing that they play their operators that we always praise every time we watch this team. Because you know that when it comes to Mayhem versus LG gunfire, it's definitely going to be evened out. You can see it here on the scoreboard. All of the lives are going to be at very most even, but Cartel's even having more of an upper hand with 39. But it really is that timing and the objective power that LG really holds.
Yeah, in a game that was all offense until that final round, yeah, those small difference makers come through in a massive way. So, as a reminder, just to be a broken record on it, LG out of the upper bracket were already attributed a 1-map advantage. So that puts them now on to 3 with 1 more map needed. Mayhem are looking down what need to be 3 straight as we head to a Hacienda hardpoint. It would have to then be a raid control and an express search and destroy. And setting up for this Hacienda hardpoint, the news is not necessarily great here for the side of Mayhem, who didn't really play it much in groups and also have not had a chance to do too much on it here this weekend either.
I mean, I guess it's in the same side of Luminosity where they initially had a difficult time when it comes to bigger maps, just because their AR line a while ago, especially Tribe, kind of showing that weakness in LG. It might be a question mark here for them as well. And now they're having Marche this time around, which usually spots that SMG, will definitely be a really big deal when it comes to, I guess, rotations and all of that. But taking a look at what we have right now as we are kind of resetting things mentally, if you are Mayhem, you need to find a way to be quick here, because in this big map, everything can steamroll out of control.
It's championship point for LG. The undefeated team from the group stage, the #1 seed here, have only dropped a couple of maps throughout the entirety of this stage 4. Can they get it done here in Hacienda? Great start for Team Mayhem. Clear out the top hallways. They've already got Jesus Saves on the hard point on Fountain, earning a lot of time. I mean, this hard point's only been open for 19 seconds, and Team Mayhem have 16 of them.
Yeah, and you can see that Luminosity is actually going to be spawning off into different sides of the map. Wanted to have that office control as well, but they are losing majority of the gunfights, even going inside, and Luminosity is going to be pushed back so much. And now unified effort from 4 players on that right side of the map from office, trying to get that control here in the high ground.
Yeah, LG are just in a little bit of tatters at the moment, trying to play for rotation. A couple of members here trying to fight off the player from the objective. And finally, they start to gain a little bit of favor on both fronts. Banned by himself, knows he has to try to anchor up this back driveway spawn, which will open in the next 4 seconds. Gunfight with Raph, and oh yeah, you know Raph wants it. He's a finesser after all. Slides in, finds the kill, and that will allow the side of Team Mayhem to get on towards Lambeau first.
And now for Luminosity, they're going to be in through Rock side. The pinch will happen, and so far they're winning majority of the gunfights in that rotation for next. And even though Mayhem's already set up inside of the objective, they're actually still winning some of their gunfights down. And as I said that, player number 5, that will be Raph, the only player alive there, but it is still contested heavily.
Team Mayhem, good recovery through backside of driveway. LG trying to pinch this from both sides at the same time, but the SMGs for the side of Team Mayhem start to really rip things up. 52-19 the tally, and LG have not had one cohesive break attempt yet for this hard point. And it may have to happen right here, right now. Sparrow out for Jesus saves, just making sure no one else comes through Zig. And it looks like for Luminosity, they're going to have to just turn tail and run back over to fences. This is a significant start for Team Mayhem.
And we already kind of set it up a while ago. It seems like Luminosity having a troublesome time when it comes to a bigger map like this. They're rotating early already. They know very well that they needed to have that office control. Band is going to be right there. Going to be greeted by one player, and he is going to be winning that gunfight.
Key moment here for LG. Have to set up something to get some points back early. Do not want to let this get out of hand, especially with Team Mayhem right around the corner from a number of operators. Raph just flying forward, only catches one. Luminosity still in the hard point for now. 50-50 battle likely to come from the front. Blur, War Machine out, trying to clear out both these bottom side angles. Pred Missile also being called in by Jesus Saves. That will find a number of eliminations, and that will open the door for Team Mayhem to start getting their break on the way in. Luminosity trying to battle back, holding from the back as best they possibly can, but they're all softened up. I mean, the damage is so significant. Blur getting to work alongside the Claw, the Annihilator of his teammates, and Team Mayhem again get themselves in the hill.
Huge score streaks and operators from Mayhem, and they're timing this to perfection. They know very well that Luminosity is going to be spawning off into the right side of the map, and also knowing very well that it might be a split spawn, looking at well side as well. And now 14 seconds left on the clock. Look at your scoreboard. It's 114 and 30. This is so much unlike Luminosity.
Envy on 3 kills, Vague on 5. I mean, just there's no one on Luminosity's side that really can do too much. And I think a lot of that is just credit to the fact that Team Mayhem have not allowed Luminosity to set up as a full group of 5. A lot of it has come by way of just kind of staggering spawns, but then you get operators and score streaks, and at no point has this felt comfortable for LG. But finally, the economy starts to favor them with the operators. EMP had been earned, that's gonna get called out, try to reduce the effect of a lot of these operators, and LG are getting completely blown apart. Envy's the last one left, he's flashed, doesn't quite find the kills, but Marshy's right there to pick him up. Helps him out with the double. Luminosity still in the hard point for now, but still needing a little bit more help as Team Mayhem start to get kills back through mid. Here comes the pitch. Cartel's opening it up now with the Purifier, but Band, okay, that may be the spark. A triple for him, and LG now can fight back and get some control here at Rock.
Both teams still trying to contest this, and it will be Vague with the Claw. Timing is absolutely prime for him. 19 seconds for them to play with. If you are Mayhem, you can definitely have the freedom to go and rotate for that next kill. And there, speaking of, Cartel shuts him down.
Vague on now, the possibility of earning an EMP of his own. A brilliant Claw, followed up now with some miraculous CBR work, but no, overwhelmed. Little double chow from the outside of open halls. Shuts him now from getting the EMP. We exit the first rotation of hills with still a 70-point gap in favor of Team Mayhem, but LG have started to earn some tools to hopefully bring this back within grips.
Yeah, this is something that we saw in P5 where they had the tools to go and defend. Wasn't able to capture majority of the points that they wanted to, but you do get to see that it doesn't really matter. They're still winning the gunfights. They're still contesting, which is the most important part. And now for Team Mayhem, though, they're having a pretty good control here in P1, which is something that we saw a while ago, having a really good hold here.
Streak's gonna get called in. Luminosity feeling the pressure. Works out. Predator Missile will open up the hard point for just a brief moment. A bounce back, though, from Team Mayhem. Cartel smokes himself into the hill, just trying to do what he can to earn as much time as humanly possible, and every second is a very dangerous second for LG's hopes. 66 plays 144. Final 15 seconds looking decent for Luminosity, but take your eyes down to the minimap. Team Mayhem are already spawned and getting set up over towards P2 at Garage.
And yeah, that setup definitely going to be really impressive. This is where they showed up a while ago, and Luminosity had such a difficult time. Both of these teams still have 2 operators to play with each, and now that battle going in for that spawn definitely going to be really important. A while ago, it was Team Mayhem trying to get that pinch off, trying to get that rock control. This time around, we do get to see that rotation finally from Cartels.
Smoke from the front. Both teams pop out their explosive operators. War Machines were dueling. Sparrow also in the mix, but hold on. Vague from the side. He's able to take down a couple. Yes, Team Mayhem still in the hard point, but there are not a lot of members nearby. Envy almost does it himself, but a couple of trades come through. Help from Blur at range allows Team Mayhem to get right back into the hard point. And Kings on the opposite side also getting a read that LG are trying to hit this from driveway side. Blur follows up. Good reaction times and Blur's just teeing up. 172 to 86, and LG again are already defaulting to rotation with 25 seconds left on the hard point.
Dan, this is just essential scrap points that they need. I mean, granted, yes, they wanted to go in for that early setup, but you can just go break it later on. You have operators to play with, and now you're giving free points away to Mayhem. 5 seconds left here for scrap. That rotation for next gonna be key, and it will be Cartels that will be shut down by Patio.
Annihilator out for Washi. Trying to keep this AR line sustainable, but the Pred missile comes through and finds two, including the wielding operator of the Annihilator. Now Team Mayhem pop out the specialists of their own as they crack past the 200-point mark. Raph a little bit caught through Patio. Kings trying to recover, but the trade's actually decent here from LG. Blur still on the backside of the plate. Gets a chance to possibly contest, but Band puts them to rest, and LG surely get past the century mark here.
And now definitely it will be Mayhem and Jesus Saves that will try to go in for that pinch, but so far LG's doing a phenomenal job here as still trying to hold that lifeline that they got. Early rotation, okay, maybe they weren't able to win that, but when it comes to the gunfights, they're still able to win it. And now when it comes to the spawns as well, it will be a split spawn situation where Vig is gonna be right there for the pinch.
Win condition established for Team Mayhem. They get to 214 points here on the fences, and they're not done yet. They're still trying to finesse in Cartels. Off the reload, looks to essentially just be the solo finesser, and he does well to get the reload off, find another elimination. And it's just, man, as much as you like to often say that everywhere is being contested, it feels like Team Mayhem have 6 members on the field. They are all over the map, and Luminosity has not been comfortable for a single second here on Hacienda.
And now Mayhem also has the defense and the firepower to try and get this hill. Vague pops out the claw, going to be the only one. Yeah, that was a really huge trophy from Babe. Really good awareness when it comes to the operator usage of Mayhem.
And he still has the claw to play with. Big moment for LG. Vague trying to grow some sort of favor late into this map, but this would be a comeback for the ages if LG were to put this one back together. Envy, slow map from him, but starting to pick things up just a touch. Kings on the outside looking in. Band able to shut him down, and the SMGs follow up. 20 seconds of scrap time coming through. LG need to get a read on this last attempt from Team Mayhem, all of it coming from the right side of the map. Spawns are still over towards boat for Team Mayhem. Here comes the contest. Couple of kills are in. Vague not done, but finally put to rest. And a little bit of scrap time will be earned by Team Mayhem, getting over the 230 mark.
I mean, it's a good thing that Mayhem won some gunfights here in through P5, which is an essential rotation going into P1 rather, but Luminosity is still shutting down that rotation. It is a good presence of mind that they don't want to give that power position away at any moment, knowing very well there's only 20 seconds left for Mayhem to go and clinch. Slowly but surely, the setup Luminosity is going to be really big, especially with the Pretty missile up in the air.
Cartels is just finessing. Him and Jesus both have been a nuisance on the OBJ. Raph, not his greatest game to this point, but still finding a lot of hard point time. And Team Mayhem, I hesitated to say it when we saw this in the map pool. We were watching these guys scrim a little bit over the course of the last couple of days, and they were dominating on this map when we had a chance to kind of tune in, and that will be the case here. 250 to 139. Great heavens. Mayhem, stay alive.
Man. They did everything right. I mean, when it comes to the operator usage, it was so prime. It was so different when we saw Arsenal a while ago. And yes, granted, it was very much back and forth. Not this time around. Mayhem definitely played this so much better compared to LG. And there were so many kind of instances where LG could have had the upper hand, but they were just shut down so much by Mayhem. And it really is the stopping point of Mayhem to try and stop the pinch from Luminosity, especially in that P2, was really huge plays for them.
It was just one of those things that, again, for those that may be, you know, fans of Call of Duty from the Black Ops 4 era when this was a CDL map, Mayhem were doing everything right. You don't ever want to allow your opponents to concentrate a break. Find a way to stagger out the spawns, keep them in pieces, and I don't think there was a single moment where LG were able to put together a break attempt where all 5 members were hitting at the same time. Did not necessarily be from the same side, but at the same time. None of the concentrated hits were really well put together. The small finesses on pinches and flanks never really got a chance to do too much, and outside of LG, playing for early rotations just to get themselves set up. I don't know if they ever actually successfully fully broke a hard point that Team Mayhem were in position for.
And definitely you get to see some unruly mistakes from LG where they rotated a little bit too early from P2 to P3. There were, what, 20 seconds left here on the hill. They didn't really have anyone there to try and contest. Went in there for a full 5-man rotation and also was broken, by the way, by Mayhem. So yeah, there's a lot of things to be talked about when it comes to that gameplay, but they are still up. But when you give the momentum shift towards Mayhem, that's going to be difficult later on.
And the thing is, now we head back to another respawn. We're going to be in control again, a recent rule change this year. So that way these best of 7s end, as you would expect in the Call of Duty world, on a search and destroy instead of a control. So Raid will be the next map to get into. And while the teams are having a brief moment to talk things through, just want to give some more love again over to Samsung and the Snapdragon Pro Series. You can see how these players have been rocking through with this new Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. 118 FPS is what these players are getting, which is a huge advantage if you at home are trying to work your way through ranked or maybe even qualify for an event like this in the future.
You definitely want the best device in your hands when it comes to such tight gameplay like this. When it comes to the responsiveness as well, definitely going to be super huge for them. And our responsive nature from Mayhem, definitely something we saw on that challenge finals where they were more reactionary than the person that is actually going in there for more of a, I guess, dictated pace. They're not dictating the pace most of the time. And so now you get to see that they're on the driver's seat this time around, not only seeing that search and destroy, but also finally in this respawn as well.
And the big question mark for this particular map mode combo is LG have not played Raid yet this weekend in control. So again, they hold the advantage not just coming from the upper bracket finals of the one map edge, but with a mode that only has 3 maps, they get to essentially target the one map they don't want in the picture. So opting to get Standoff out and playing between Crossroads and Raid, it feels like if you're LG, you have to be thinking that this is going to be where this series ends. But if Mayhem can find a way to get to Express map number 6, I mean, they looked great on it just a moment ago versus Tribe, and I think LG would be a little bit more apprehensive to feel super confident moving into an elongated series where it goes the distance.
Yeah, these last 2 maps are going into the favor of Mayhem at the moment, just because that Luminosity, we saw them in Challenge where they kind of had a difficult time in those Raid maps. But yes, that was only in week number 2, and a lot of time has been passed. But that's the only thing that we could actually say when it comes to their performance in Raid, just because we haven't seen them perform it here in playoffs. On the other hand of things, yes, when we do go in for that Express, it is still Mayhem, and we saw how well they actually performed in that Meltdown map.
So here we go. Players still locking in, getting ready. And this would be one heck of a story. Not just if Team Mayhem were to find a way to win this, but to do it by winning 3 straight maps would be unbelievable. But on the other side, it's that guy on your screen, Marshy, who gets the late call. I mean, he was very vocal, not just in interviews, but also on Twitter. It's just like, I don't know why I'm playing. And Hippo and the rest of the LG boys seem to have a lot more confidence in him than maybe he has in himself. I mean, there's moments where, like, I even hesitate to say, like, he's just happy to be here, because there are some responses that he's had where it's just like, I don't know why Tech's not playing, but it would be quite a moniker for success for Marshy to get a late sub call and then find a way to take this LG team to the top of North America.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why that he's there in the first place. There's something that his team members and also coach just see something in him. And we've already seen it, especially in those respawns where he actually steps it up. He doesn't necessarily have to be that star player, but in a team, you're a team for a reason. Everyone needs to fit in. But this is where we kind of see, and we've already talked about this already in the desk and when they're playing S&D. Maybe Tech is a person that could actually play in a game mode like S&D, especially in maps like, let's say, Tunisia, where he can actually just hold it on his own with that sniper on that B side or A side. So it really is a question mark as to maybe they could actually do both things. So I don't know. I'm just hoping that they kind of find their footing when it comes to the team selection.
Well, looks like the fist bumps and handshakes are all out. If that's any indication, we should be loading in here pretty darn quickly, although more conversation still occurring here on the backside of the stage. And for Team Mayhem, I think the biggest thing in this little downtime moment right here is to not get too much in your head. I mean, you got to be feeling real hot, real high after what just happened on the Hacienda. Don't second guess yourself. Just get ready to go. put together a similar performance to what you've had on Raid so far this weekend, in particular the matchup versus Tribe. I thought that looked really, really good. Blur in particular was key. So many really well-utilized War Machines to give Mayhem a couple of edges in a couple of key rounds. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out there for you friends at home.
Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday on the desk afterwards, where Blur was just creating a lot of space for his team, and Cartels was able to kind of utilize that at the very end. And everything was pretty much close up against that Tribe matchup here in Raid as well. And it's kind of like every single time that this team plays a control map, it always goes down to the wire, and it definitely went down very close up against Luminosity a while ago, going 2v3, 1v1s, and definitely going to be the same case here in this map, knowing very well that it is a really good map to play. And kind of just hold your breath just a tiny bit. You can definitely go and recollect yourself here.
Keep in mind as well, out there, friends, that these two teams have scored up a couple of times, and when they played back in the group stage, this was the map 3 control when they played back when we were in Poland. They were in the comfort of their homes. It was a 3-1 tally in favor of LG. So there is a little bit of footage, I would say, for Team Mayhem if they were to predict that this map was going to be the pool for them to possibly get some preemptive VOD review over. But this comes down to, will those things that occurred way back then still apply here today? And I think just based on the reactions that we heard from, again, talking to Jesus at the beginning of the captain's interview with Gabby, it didn't really sound like they were going in and like changing anything. There's just, hey, let's just go over verbally some of the things that may have gone wrong or may have went well yesterday, and just make sure that they're fresh in our minds. We don't have to worry about changing up our gameplay or our strategy all that much.
Yeah, and like speaking of history, these two teams, when they met in Raid, it was Raph that was the playmaker, having the most kills down and having such high impact kills that just really affected their team. And unfortunately for them, it wasn't able to translate into a win for Mayhem, but definitely you've seen this player and these individuals actually just do so well in the last few weeks that they've been playing. And that's why it's just so essential to have such a long type of format here when it comes to their gameplay, because you get to see members and teams just improve so much in the past few weeks that we're having here when it comes to stage 4.
Well, we still got a little bit of time. It looks like Band may be trying to figure some last things out. I kind of want to take the conversation a little bit away from this particular matchup and just talk about how North America has shown itself and their top competitors here this weekend, what that may mean eventually when we get to Atlanta in December for Worlds. I think that for Tribe, I think they've got a lot of work to be done, but for Team Mayhem, they've shown that, yes, this North American region's super deep, because back during groups, they were only able to take a couple of maps. They were absent from finding full wins versus either Tribe or LG. So if they were to kind of recover, beat Tribe twice, cleanly in 2-3-0s, and find a way to bounce back in this series and take down LG, I would be very scared globally if you see a North American team on your side of the bracket or in the groups. But filler and vamping aside, we're ready to go for map number 5. A must-win scenario for Team Mayhem as LG is on tournament point. It's raid control, and LG will kick us off on the defense with Mayhem threatening over towards B off the get-go.
Luminosity going on the defensive side, trying to get that top laundry control, but it will be Mayhem also winning their gunfights as well. Still pretty much even when it comes to the kills at the moment. It is definitely going to be Washi that'll try to get this side of the map. Gallery is going to be wide open.
Well, look at this from Team Mayhem. They just kind of run away from where Washi's positioned. They want laundry control. They're going to get it. Whoa, clean kill feed here from Team Mayhem. Marshy only getting 1 in response, and it's really kind of an insignificant kill as Team Mayhem are going to get the full capture at B, and they're going to have 2 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock with 26 lives. Holy cannoli, LG in trouble early.
Not just that, but you get to see Raph going to be right there on the spawn of Luminosity, trying to shut them down through basketball. Now he's going to give that information to his teammates that there are players there, and it is Kings trying to capitalize on that information.
LG's going to have a real tough time putting together a retake. I mean, the spawns that are over towards jungle were being blocked as number 5, and Raph was controlling a lot of space inside of basketball. Second tick of progress already being worked on today. A couple of kills for LG. Vague opens up the zone and gets right back in to deplete some of this progress. Raph over towards mid-pool stairs. Keeps the play alive to potentially hit this quickly. But a couple of follow-up nades will allow Luminosity to sustain their defense, although they do find themselves down 7 lives, and Team Mayhem isn't done yet.
You can already see the adjustments being made by Luminosity by way of gun choice. Holger in hand for Vague, you don't really get to see that often, yet he is the one that is having the most kills in his team. They're finally able to mitigate a little bit of damage coming in from Team Mayhem, but there's still a lot of lives in between them.
8v13, trades back and forth, still see Team Mayhem with a significant life advantage. But the success over towards the zone starts to be halted, and if not hampered just a touch. LG would have to bunker up and find a way to get some space to work with over through Tiki. Marshy, mid-map, completely bamboozled. Raph is just so dark slippery. Gets right past him, and now he takes his focus onto the zone. Eventually turned away, but it doesn't matter. Team Mayhem dominate the opening offense.
That was great. Get fast kills and also move forward when it comes to Mayhem. So they won the gunfights in through that B side, went through top laundry. Raph was able to set up a control when it comes to that jungle. And now we need to see the same case and pace for Luminosity because they were being played right now. There were basically strings attached to them.
Blur, here it comes, that very pointed to operator usage, the opening war machine. Not finding any kills at the moment, but it is keeping LG pretty limited in their approach over towards the zone, and eventually as the war machine falls, Team Mayhem will start to push forward and regain control at B very early. Bounce back though from LG. Tied lives at 24 apiece, and off the second set of spawns, LG will get right back on towards the B zone. First tick of progress being worked on and being stacked. It's coming through pretty rapidly. Ban taking an extra step over towards Laundry Stairs. And this stack should surely see Team Mayhem can see the majority of this, unless they can find a couple of kills through mid. And wait a second, that nade from Raph has kind of opened the floodgates. Kills are not convincing enough though, and it does look like Team Mayhem will have to likely concede the B zone.
And now one last-ditch effort from Mayhem to try and stop this B push. And now we do get to see those two players come around and make that three, able to stop the progress in through that third tick of progress from Luminosity. And now it's definitely going to be backed up in the corner. Now they do have a little bit more of sights here into that A side.
I don't love that call from Team Mayhem. Sure, they stopped the extra 60 seconds from being added, but 2 ticks of progress down. Now you've got operators as LG make their way cleanly on towards A. That is a tough decision and one that will cost the defense any chance of being able to contest this A zone early. Second tick of progress now locked for LG at A. And no chance for Jesus to do anything with the Sparrow. He gets blown out of money window. And yeah, I just don't love that call from Team Mayhem. And I think a lot of people will be looking at that saying, what do you mean, Shift? They got re-control of B, but they lose the entire A zone because of it. And now they find themselves also down in lives, and they have to try to stave off the rest of this hit for the next 2 minutes. A great offense for LG.
Yeah, most definitely. And just going in there, kind of tunnel vision to try and defend that B side, and that will be eliminations after eliminations. But a huge Preddy coming in from Raph, and now the life count is definitely going to be favoring Mayhem, but it will be easy for Luminosity to try and staver it off.
No, not at all. LG's being spawn trapped. They are completely stuck inside a garage. The Pred missile getting 3 was massive. Envy trying to do what he can with the Sparrow on the other side, but he only gets a couple. We've got a 5v4 situation. Team Mayhem may have given themselves a bit of a lifeline, but LG get on the zone. Washi into the Annihilator. Stack is on. Third tick of progress being worked on. Can anyone get here to touch in time? No! And LG survive through the spawn trap, get themselves onto B, and answer with an offensive round of their own.
Great recovery coming in from Luminosity. So, I mean, Mayhem was trying to be in that driver's seat, but Luminosity was also on the passenger side, steering the wheel as well. And so that back and forth we like to see, and different looks coming in from Luminosity as well. That late operator usage going to be huge for this team.
Immediately back over towards the B zone. Opening trades for Team Mayhem looking good. Kings tilting the advantage even further to Team Mayhem with Annihilator out. Only needed to get a single kill in LG. Yeah, this is the call that I think Mayhem should have done the last time through. Don't even bother trying to recontest this. Set yourself up for an aggressive A defense and allow the extra 60 seconds to be tallied. Biggest thing is Team Mayhem, that was as clean as you'd like, only dropping a single life as they already capture the B zone.
Raph yet again trying to get a hold of jungle, but it is not going to happen as we get to see Luminosity planting down Ban right there. He will back off for a touch. He will regain his teammates yet again to try and flood through Kitchen really aggressively. And you do get to see Luminosity. They're very much aware where everyone else is.
Pure fire out for both sides. Ban trying to get over through money window. Kept that bait just a touch. Cartel's on the other side. Literally the other side as they duel it out, and it will be an even trade. A little post-mortem birding effect will allow the Purifiers to shut each other down. Team Mayhem still holding on to a 4-life advantage, but look at the position for LG's defense. They've got players deep in towards bedroom. Washi's comfortable inside of Tiki, and for Team Mayhem, they're not really getting a lot of opportunity to do too much from the backside of this play either. Really good defensive setup for LG.
And now 2 players from Mayhem are trying to go in there for the cat and mouse chase up against Marshy, and they do get the better of him. As 3 players from Luminosity going to be right there. Tiki definitely going to be held really well. It's a good defensive setup so far. Smoke also helps them out.
Trying to get on to contest. Still plenty of time on the clock. Team Mayhem still at a 3-life advantage as well. Banned inside of Tiki. SMG starting to threaten the front line of scrimmage. And goodness, how does Kings get 2 right there? He's not even done. How about give him 3? That'll lead to now Team Mayhem a chance to flood on forward. They also have pressure inside of Kitchen and at the cutout wall. Looking good for Team Mayhem to jump on the zone and force LG's defense to have to step out from behind basketball. But now a pinch starts to develop. You've got one from behind in the form of Marshy. And he has now regained control of Bedroom, made the poolside safe, and LG's defense recontrols the zone.
Goodness, Marshy and Washi winning essential gunfights and just flooding out Team Mayhem when it comes to those power positions. Bedroom controlled by Marshy. You also have Kitchen controlled by Washi. Definitely going to be impressive for them. It is going to be blurred, and Cartel's trying to get and flush out the players from Luminosity. One last player here in Tiki.
It's got to be Washi, and he's got a crick, not the weapon that you want. Gets out traded. Clock should stop right about the 20-second mark here. 9v6 situation. Fake from behind, gets some entry in through poolside stairs. Hold on. 14 seconds on the clock. Nobody from the side of Mayhem can get to stop the zone from taking away. 6v5 though, also the current status in lives. But you gotta stop the clock. Team Mayhem have to get there. 6v3. Operator out for Marshy. He's got the war machine at the front door. Can they touch? Yes, they do. 1 second on the clock. Envy trying to play around the back. And no, kills will not be there. Just as soon as the clock was about to expire, it was all zeros, but Team Mayhem able to find the kills needed right before the clock expires.
Counter after counter we see both of these teams do, and Mayhem got the best of them in that round. It was so close, down to the 0 second. And now we do get to see that Luminosity is having a different look, wanting to have a slower approach, winning these gunfights in through mid, getting that kitchen control, and looking like it might be an A hit, but they will have some players that'll try to capture B as well.
Washi just getting to work with the Annihilator. Has 2 players for Team Mayhem stuck underneath the rim at basketball. And now as he makes his way through cutout, Cartels will be caught out by Band playing through kitchen side. Great opening offense here from Luminosity. Kill still coming through. Jesus Saves takes himself out of the picture, only finding a single kill with the Sparrow. And LG looking good to get a second tick of progress here at A. And they're actually splitting their focus. It's not actually a full enforcement of this A zone. A chance maybe for Team Mayhem to get this kill and get back control of the A zone. And in the meantime, they also have a very far forward member over towards B. So defensively, Team Mayhem putting together a bit of a response, but it's not convincing enough. LG right back on towards A, and the extra 60 seconds is looking pretty much guaranteed.
Raph was thinking about that spawn trap, but he's very much aware that there's one player from Luminosity right there. He's trying to go in for the denial, and unfortunately for him, he is going to be spotted out. But sights are going to be right there for Bravo, as Alpha's finally going to be captured by Luminosity, something that we've already seen here before. Now they're going to be spreading out. They're going to be slowly trying to capture this side of jungle. Band, player number 4 as well, it's Vague. That'll try to go up against Blur.
Have to say for Team Mayhem, they are very fortunate that Envy didn't get the solo capture of that second tick of progress at B. It gives this defense a chance, a slim chance considering the life count, but a chance nonetheless. Raph, what can you do? The entire force of LG essentially in front of him, and well, does not have the reach to connect the left-right combo. So with that, now a significant advantage for LG in the life count. Still a minute 28 on the clock, and it looks like LG should be able to cruise their way into a round 4 win and get us to a 5th round, pending that Mayhem don't do something unbelievable here in the late stages of this 4th round.
Luminosity forcing Mayhem to spawn off a basketball court, and so far they are winning a lot of their gunfights, and Mayhem is just having such a difficult time. 15v3, and it's looking so very good for Luminosity here in this attacking round. Second tick of progress already locked down, and there's really nothing much you can do, as it is finally going to be captured. And here we go again, as we've been seeing here in the past 2 days here at PAX. Round number 5, yet again, for Control.
And Mayhem do have a small advantage coming into this round. Actually, well, as the clock starts to tick down, both teams will have 3 operators at the ready. In particular for Mayhem, trying to get to a final map. They will have Kings on the Annihilator, Blur on a War Machine, and Cartels with the Purifier as they hit into their offense. And yep, they're going to call out 2 of the 3 immediately. King's not quite able to connect with too much at the moment. War Machine on the opposite side for Marshy does find a bit of value, but not fully enough, as Team Mayhem will come out on top of the eliminations and have a chance to stop the clock getting progress on at B.
Cartel's trying to go in there with a Purifier, trying to stop any kind of progress Luminosity is trying to take. Every step will be denied, and that will allow them to go in there for that kitchen control, but it will just be one player in the form of Kings that will try to stop the force, but it is too much for Team Mayhem.
Wait, They're going for this. Fake's got a claw out. He wants to try to retake. This is a bold call, and it gets completely shut down. Blur's Light War Machine gets the couple of kills needed. The extra 60 seconds is added, and LG are now missing out on a couple of key operators. No claw. Ban gets himself on for at least a couple of streaks with the Purifier, but he's not going to be able to use this to retake. So LG have to put Punish into the life count right now with this spawn trap.
Big kills from Envy. He does get traded, but that kind of slows down the momentum of Mayhem. They don't know where everyone else from Luminosity is, but they are going to try to be careful, and that is probably the biggest way for Luminosity to try and take this. Washi still has the Annihilator, knowing very well that there are going to be a lot of players right there and through Bedroom.
He is losing charge on it, though. Hasn't fired a single shot yet. Envy does get one up top. Lives, huge for LG. Can feel the North American Championship coming close. Fake off the pinch, able to find one up high. Hal takes his attention down to the low ground. Team Mayhem struggling to get out of spawn. Big shutdown comes through, though, for Cartels. Washi a bit isolated over towards poolside stairs, but how about it? Envy's gonna pop out the Sparrow. LG trying to get it done right here, round number 5. 16 plays up against 6. Can they find a way to clean this one up and be our North American champions? Team Mayhem still staying alive. Ban stun backside. You need to get this isolated kill if you're Team Mayhem. They're trying to track him down, but Ban just slips away. 15v6. Not a lot of time on the clock as well. Have to find some way to crack the code with no lives remaining.
Mayhem, Luminosity, gonna slow down some stuff here because Luminosity, knowing very well that they have the life count, they're not gonna give anything away here. Team Mayhem, they have only 6 lives left. 30 seconds on the clock to play with. They need to find a way to go in now, and it is Kings with that opener to try and go in there for that alpha side.
Fake from the side, able to take down one. Also places down the trophy system as Jesus saves. Can't quite get connections with the Sparrow. Final 15 seconds. LG still reaping apart, finding the kills. The undefeated God Squad, as we labeled them at the beginning of this, looks to be the champion here in North America if they can find these final 2 kills. Last chance saloon here for Team Mayhem. They're going to find a couple eliminations, but it will not matter. Luminosity will be your North American champions, cleaning things up on the raid control.
Mayhem, you tried. You fought valiantly. But it now is Luminosity's game. It is their time, their era. The first time that they've ever been crowned. And it must taste so sweet. It seems like a new era of Call of Duty Mobile is upon us. Seems really great, feels really great. But the camaraderie from both of these teams really is showing. But even though that Luminosity had a difficult time in that stage 4 in the beginning, they are so solid and still undefeated here in the Snapdragon Pro Series stage 4 for North America.
What an unreal showing. And even though there were expectations for this team to do just this, I don't know. I don't think anyone had on their bingo card that Tectonic would not be a part of the win condition for this squad. But boy, did they ever earn it. A full-on team with the support of an unbelievable coach behind them, a big brain behind the operation. They had a lot of issues in the respawn, in the hard point. And that wasn't the case, but no love lost here between both of these two teams, and really not too much to be upset about if you're Team Mayhem. They will still be at Worlds. This still will hold the number 2 seed in North America. And boy, did they ever put on quite a show.
Luminosity, as they move further forward to be your champions, they'll finally have a chance to get in there. They deserve it. They've worked hard for it. They've thrown a couple punches, but finally, they are here.
Here we go. One more time, center stage, your North American champions, it's Luminosity.
performance from Luminosity on the stage today to be our North American champions. I'm telling you, anyone that picks that up, please don't drop it on your foot or anywhere. We need you nice and safe before you perform at the World Championship later on. All right, Ben, I'm going to start with you. I do want a bit of a reflection upon this matchup because Mayhem did manage to take more than just one map off y'all this time. Tell me about this fight.
I mean, Marcy was our key factor for our respawns, and we won like most of them. And S&D, we were lacking because like Tech was one of our main snipers for S&D, but he wasn't there, obviously. So we were losing most of our S&Ds this whole tournament. But yeah, every game we just tried our best and got the win.
Yeah, that win came through. And Tech, I'll come to you in a little bit. We got to speak earlier, so I'm gonna let your voice take a break. We also spoke earlier, but I gotta check back in with you as well. I mean, coming into just this season in general, there was so much discussion about Luminosity, all the roster mania, seeing how the different egos would come into play with this super squad. Can you tell me a bit about how you were able to maintain that balance of personalities and come through in the clutch for a strong performance through and through?
So yeah, we are a super squad, but each one of us have like our super benefits. So we have Marshy as SMG, Big as SMG, AR, me Sniper, Tech, everything, ban everything. Like all of us together, it just makes us like a super team, obviously. And so today proves the day, and us winning the trophy, that wins it all.
And I think one thing that makes a super team so super is even when you come out of the regular season undefeated, you are never not critical of yourselves. I think I'm gonna move on and get some other voices in here. In multiple post-match interviews, we heard, yeah, we got the win, but we weren't quite locked in the beginning. We need to shore things up. What were you doing to make sure that from the start, you didn't have those issues of getting on the same page and being very unified in your strategy?
Honestly, we were struggling at first, but eventually, you know, we kept our composure. We were talking to each other, making sure we were doing what we were doing. And, well, you know, it led us to winning. So, you know, proud to everybody doing their part and everybody performing well.
And winning does feel good. But some of y'all have felt the joy of winning before. Yeah? I know, you can speak on behalf of those that hold multiple rings on this stage, because in fact, we did hear from you at the end of week 4. You spoke about how you wanted a fresh start, and it was really a great place for you to come onto Luminosity. Obviously, some teammates staying the same, others joining the fold. What was that like, finding a new home and making sure that you could keep that at the forefront to perform?
I'm not gonna lie, at first it wasn't really the best thing because of the fact that it was a team filled with 6 superstars, and the hardest part of that was finding somebody to bench. And that kind of caused some problems, but at the end of it, we ended up finding a solution to it, and that led to us coming up with this roster for Stage 4. But there's definitely going to be some changes maybe happening depending on how stuff goes. But as of right now, we're happy, we're living the moment. We ended up taking the win, and we're just happy to be here right now.
And those changes and that adaptability is very important to keep in mind to perform in every single match and going forward. Because it wasn't just a championship, also seeding was a thing, right? When it comes to the World Championship, being able to finish first. Do you have any thoughts on the importance of that to be able to perform to go in with a higher seeding?
I have no comment.
Nah?
I don't know.
What about just thoughts on how you did? I know you seemed pretty casual with it when I spoke to you yesterday, but you did have to keep locking in. I got to speak to Tech earlier about his thoughts on the changes, but now that it's all said and done and the championship has been achieved, what do you have to say?
My teammates are GOATs. I wasn't doing anything today. The series I played really bad, but they stepped it up really good. They played amazing, the best they ever did, and you know they deserve it.
Props to the team, very important. And all right, Hippo, you know we're gonna have that switch up now. You just achieved domestic success. You've got international competition on the way. We talked a bit about the balance between the two, but what does it mean to you and the squad to be able to have this momentum going into international play as the North American champions?
This is everything for us because we know that NA has a target on its back, and being #1 in NA means we have the biggest target on our back. And so we have to be prepared for what's coming up next, which is against the world. We can't underestimate anyone. This year has been crazy across the entire world, so we're ready. This just proves to us that we're the best, and we're away from us.
No one can take that away from y'all. And not to break up the little powwow that we got going over here. I know, you all love each other. Yeah, right after a victory, it's all positive feelings, but I'm gonna let you have the last words on behalf of the team. Ooh, big pressure, right? Big pressure. You're the designated talker since we didn't get to see you strut your stuff. So on behalf of Luminosity, our champions here today, what do you have to say when looking forward to the community, to those that have supported, and that will continue to do so as you step onto the next big stage?
For anyone that supported us, thank you. It's been a long journey. This team, everyone expected to be a super team, but it really wasn't like that. We had our own struggles, we went through ups and downs. Everyone even questioned, will LG actually be able to win this? So I'm just glad that the boys performed, and I was here to watch it.
And I guess we won't know until then if we'll see you on the stage, huh?
He's our secret weapon.
Oh, your secret weapon, huh? All right. Everyone feels like they're a secret weapon in some capacity, or not so secret, just a weapon in general. Well, congratulations again to all of you on the victory here today. Our champions of our Call of Duty mobile tournament, Snapdragon Pro Series. As we send it back to the desk, give it up one more time.
Great stuff, Gabby. Fantastic to hear from the guys as they take it home. It's one of my favorite things when we look at teams like this is just how many different personalities kind of step up and take part.
You've seen it in the interviews already with how individually they're just so special, not only in the game, but also off camera as well. They are a family, and that's the most important part here. The fact that they also respect each other is definitely one thing that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I mean, 100% the case. I still think the end-all be-all was when this roster was put together and LG made the move after being in COD Mobile for their first year and then having the benefit of putting together what should be classified as a super team. Anything short of winning would have been a disappointment, I think, generally speaking. So the fact that they were able to bounce back, put themselves in a good spot, come up clutch throughout a number of moments throughout that grand finals, all sparks really good things, I think, for them looking forward to Worlds.
Here's the thing, I am fortunate to have one of the best seats in the house. Y'all are up here casting. I get to stand there and listen to the guys on comms and everything, and I guess it's easy to kind of keep morale high, but they lost. They wound up losing one of those later games to Mayhem, and they came out and they were like, listen, we have better gun skill, but they're better on object. Let's just do what they do. They were cool. They felt it, and I like to hear that morale stay up.
That's everything as well, because I still think, not that it's really a poignant point to bring up, but if we would have gotten to map number 6 on Express Search, I think the result very well may have been the other direction. Yeah. So the fact that Luminosity got it done on a raid control, great news. The fact that they were able to do it convincingly in round 5, perfect.
Well, Luminosity here, definitely the victors. Last hits for you guys. Beef Mommy, it's been a long weekend, a long season. How are you feeling?
Feels really good. It's nice to see a consistent team like Luminosity just really go through undefeated in their run here. And also, how close everything is in this region. You saw Tribe underperform, but you also see Mayhem just absolutely floor the competition. And now, like what they said, there is a definite target in the backs of Luminosity.
Yeah, I think the overall kind of final thoughts for me looking through this is not only do we have a lot of expectations for all 3 of the seats of North America, but I think globally there's going to be some major threats like Hippo was talking about that you don't want to overlook. So it's been an absolute treat being out here in Seattle. Big shout outs, not just to Snapdragon, but the production team has been killing it literally all weekend long. So a lot of fun on my side. Just happy to be here. You know how it is.
Luminosity goes ahead and takes it. Fantastic work to them. Team Mayhem also, Tribe Gaming, and even Devious, no slouches themselves, but it is those top 3 that wind up moving on. And that puts a dot onto the LAN and our NA season. We've seen some of the best Call of Duty Mobile ever played this weekend. All these teams showed up. Thank you so much to our partners at DHL, Monster Energy, the U.S. Air Force, and Samsung. Congratulations to Luminosity. Thank you to our fans. Champs is next. We'll see you in Atlanta.